All right. Steve, when was the last time you rode a bike?
Hmm. Trying to think. Rent a bike?
Nope.
I haven't had a bike since before we started our last job together.
Mm.
Hmm. So I guess I feel like I've ridden a bike though.
I felt like you said that you rode a bike recently, but I might be bugging. I'd be making shit up, dude. Um, like, how old were you when you first learned how to ride a bike?
I assume like 5 or 6. I can remember a little bit of my parents taking me to the basketball court with the training wheels, and
Mm.
then like when they took them off, I was like riding in a circle.
Rite of
Like when you
passage.
when you first walk, you kind of do that little circle.
All right. Like, I'm asking because I had a good long recording with Manuel this week. Actually, I recorded with Manuel for 2.5 hours. So it was a Colompton length episode. And then I talked with Manuel. We started recording at about 11. We were on the phone until 5 a.m. after recording. So, needless to say, I spent a lot of time talking to Manuel. Got a good episode out of it. I'm trying to edit that right now, which is minimum editing anyway. Because as I'm listening back, I'm like, we'll keep that in. It was a little controversial. Probably shouldn't have said that on there, but whatever. We'll go ahead and leave that in. Like, all right, we'll leave this in too. We'll see what happens in the next hour that I got to edit. Um, so basically, for his podcast, Off the Saddle, um, he's basically wanting us as guests separately. But the caveat to it is, have you ridden a bike before? Do you know how to ride a bike? That's the only kind of like hurdle to get over. If you don't know how to ride a bike, you cannot be a guest.
It's funny. I was thinking of one thought that came up when I was thinking of the bike. I don't think my mic's on.
Mm, check.
Test that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't coming through the headphone, and I wasn't on the left.
Oh, no, no, no. Your cable's getting.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't going up. Now I'm. So yeah, if you didn't hear what I was saying, I have ridden a bike before.
No, you haven't.
Can't remember when.
No, no
I
one
I
heard it.
learned to ride at a normal age. Um,
God damn. Now you all like all up in. Well,
yeah.
cause yeah, like at first I was like, I'm trying to like wait, like,
So
dude, get
I,
close.
I I was hearing you through the headphones. Then all of a sudden I noticed I was like, why do I sound so quiet? Because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
talking kind of loud.
Um.
But yeah. The memory that came was when we had that Fourth of July party years ago, and I got the what was the tequila that no one liked. I got it because it was the cheapest. Pepe Lopez.
That was tequila. I thought that was vodka. Oh no, no,
It
no,
was
no, no, no,
tequila.
no. I'm thinking about pop of pop
Pepe
pop.
Lopez. So yeah, not a fan favorite.
Nah, don't knock it till you
Um,
try it.
but we went out and we decided to time ourselves on scooter. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. You know
We went,
what's funny is when we bring up the bike thing. Sarah and I were talking about bikes today because Sophie wants a bike, and Sarah's like, "Well, she's not ready for a bike. Sophie will be 7 in May." She's like, "She's not ready for a bike." Like, cause she's like, "Well, cause she's just got this intense fear of falling." And I was like, "Well, that's part of the journey." like, oh man, I'm like, I'm probably gonna buy her a bike
yeah,
without
I
any
can imagine
like consulting.
it's nerve wracking as a parent, but at the same time, we all fell. I'm
Yeah,
sure we've all had pretty bad falls on bikes too.
yeah. Well, exactly. It's like, fucking come on, dude. Like, grow up.
I know I tried to do that trick where you like do a wheelie on the front wheel,
Mm.
so you hit the front brake to try to get it up and then roll.
No, no.
That shit flipped over before I even could think.
Yeah, no. I've never once even considered that as a thought. Although, when I was thinking about Sophie with a bike, and I was like, well, first thing I need to explain to her is don't hit this brake, you'll flip over. And I started thinking, like, yeah, but, and then I started thinking about that trick.
That's a major one
Yeah.
that people. So one of the funniest things I witnessed at our old job at the restaurant was there's a bike shop nearby, and there was this kid who'd come in for lunch all the time, and I mean he was really dumb. Like when you talk to him, it was like a movie character. Like belongs on Dumb and Dumber. Anyways, he's just casually coming to pick up his food, which he often did. And he always rode a BMX bike over, and I'm watching him up front, and then out of nowhere, dude just does a front flip and falls like super hard. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, there's nothing in the road. Like, what was the meaning of that? Then he comes in, and I'm like, dude, are you all right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, what the hell happened? And he's like, this is my girlfriend's bike, and she's left-handed, so I switched the brakes and I forgot. So he hit that front brake and just did a front flip.
So that's a fair reasoning, but still hilarious.
Yeah, and if you knew this guy, it made
Poor
it even
bastard.
more fun because it was just like you would do something like that.
You poor dumb bastard. Yeah. But yeah. So, um, Manuel is wanting to have you on as a guest on this podcast. But I think what we're gonna do, I'm not sure if I remember correctly. Like, I think it's gonna be kind of a back to back. Like I'll be on, then probably the following episode you'll be on, something like that. But that's me asking. So I don't know. Maybe he'll ask you too. But oops, spoiler alert. Um. So yeah. That was pretty much all I had for that. How you been feeling, man?
Pretty good. Today was freezing. I had a little bit of I wouldn't say hangover, but drank a lot at the concert last night for sure. I was looking at my bank statement in the morning, like, oh, I think I was going a little too hard. It's like 2 rum and cokes,
Well, I was
just
gonna say,
over and over and over. It's just like,
but that's the thing though too. The prices though too. I'm
yeah, they
sure.
weren't good. So it was like literally. So you know, the tip isn't added in when you first see it, so it's like 25 a pop. I was like, oh man,
Jeez.
but it was for 2. I mean, which isn't. It's
Still,
bad. I feel like a concert maybe that's normal.
dude.
I feel like rum and coke's actually a concert. You could get them for like $8-9 at some places.
I remember. Well, I mean, but
See,
it's
my
a different
problem
time now.
was we had a bottle of Jameson before we even left, so I was already in a
I
really
was gonna say you should
fun,
have already
giving
been in
mood.
a
Yeah, but
good spot.
that's the problem is when you're in a good spot, you want to be more in a good spot. Keep going.
No, not me. Once I'm in a good spot, I'm on cruise control. Just give me a couple Miller Lights, and I can just.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't.
just
Well, I think one
cruise.
was Bay doesn't drink beer, but I don't know why I didn't even consider to get a beer. Although I had 2 IPAs next door before. Like the amount I drank that day was pretty impressive. But yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
craving water
I
tonight.
don't think alcoholism is impressive, my friend. Well, I told you there's bottles of water in the fridge.
No, I just mean after this.
Well, even
Like
still, because
next week I'll be.
like I know I've been fucking really dehydrated the last 2 days, and we were supposed to record. We were gonna do a St. Patrick's Day episode, which we were supposed to do Thursday, but we couldn't. You had obligations, and then Friday I just felt like shit run over twice. Like I was in no condition, and then even yesterday, like on Saturday, I felt horrible. And I just said, you know what, fuck it, and we almost had to push today, but it was like, oh well, fuck it, let's just go. Let's get through it, and then I'll spend the rest of the week in the fetal position. So yeah, how was the show?
The show was great. So first show I've been to in Philly. Not a fun city to drive to when you don't know that area very well. It's a little confusing downtown. Then the hotel we stayed at had no parking. It's like valet only, and then it's like right off the main road. So it's like it's just stressful. Like once we got checked in the hotel, things were good. But remember, I've only been to Philly one other time, and I had suspicion. It was like I was in the part of Baltimore, and we went to the power plant, like the
Tourist,
touristy
yeah.
spot. So where we were this time was much better bars, more fun. There was a lot of people out on St. Patrick's Day that we saw driving in. We didn't encounter any of them when we were walking to the show, and we walked to the show, so it was like a mile away. But yeah, we went to more fun bars than the last time. No Philly cheesesteaks. The show, so again, it was Jedi Mind Tricks, and I've been like a casual fan of them. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, and the dude's in so many side groups. Vinny Paz, it's like what is it? Army of the Pharaohs, the Heavy Metal Kings. I don't know, a bunch of others. Regardless, I saw that it was going to be his last tour ever. There I go. Last.
Give me a second. I'm gonna switch your cord out.
1, 2.
All right, relax. All right, we're back. So, yeah. Anyhow, you're talking about this
Oh
show.
yeah, so the show was good. So it was Jedi Mind Tricks last, or it was really just Vinny Paz. I don't know that the other members of Jedi Mind Tricks ever toured with him. They were not there, or at least performing. But it was like he already announced he was done with touring. I think he's at the point where he just doesn't like to travel. I think he likes to perform, but doesn't like the traveling and sleeping in hotels and shit like that. But this was his hometown, so kind of like his last show in his hometown as well. So I jumped on those tickets right away, and it ended up being a fun time. But yeah, sold out show. It was like a 9:30 club type vibe, which was my favorite type of venue.
I think that's the best
And
type of venue, personally.
yeah, he had a lot of like guests and friends sort of with him, and probably if it was indeed sort of a farewell show. I mean, he instead of the encore of him performing, it was like he just put all of his friends on to do stuff. There's probably like 40 dudes on stage at the end, but yeah, lots of energy. Good crowd for the most part. Some dude got thrown out right next to us, and he was from Maryland, ironically.
Cunt.
Their little group. It's funny because Bea had to tell me all this stuff because I'm like, remember that dude got kicked out? Like, no, I remember my rum and cokes I kept getting. But yeah, we met some dudes from Maryland. That was her first hip hop show and like an underground type show, which she definitely had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
I was like, okay, and there's a pause.
And we've seen them before,
Yeah.
so
I don't.
it was opening for Everlast.
Okay.
Or
It's like it's like every time like it comes up, I'm like I feel like I was there, and I'm pretty sure I was there, but then I get confused. I get confused with Cottonmouth Kings and shit like that. So I'm like, all right, that's who I didn't see. I think it was Cottonmouth Kings.
I somehow have seen them way more times, and I'm not a fan of their music to be honest.
Yeah, I don't.
But I've seen them
care for them.
somehow so many times.
Um,
Whether it's opening up or like a friend just asked me to go, and I was just like, it sounds fun. I will say they did do something crazy one show. They had the whole crowd split sides, like all the way to the wall, and then all of a sudden they like, did a countdown, and all the people had to switch sides. That shit was wild.
okay.
A little dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Risky, but okay. Sounds fun. Not for me. Um, but no, that's cool all the same. Yeah, I think those club shows are always fun shows. I mean, everybody likes what they like. You know, there are people that want to go see Beyonce and Taylor Swift for like $1,400 tickets in a
Oh
big
yeah,
stadium.
they was watching like the Taylor Swift show. I was
Of
like,
course she
so
was.
this is not like I don't even know if this is like a concert. This is more like a performance, like theater or something. Because I mean, it's so many stage and you know, so many people involved. It's almost like something different than a concert.
Well, always compare the two to like podcasting versus like radio shows. Whereas like a radio show, you've got like all these people in the background doing all this shit, like production assistants. You've got producers telling you like, you know, like what you can and can't say, versus like podcasts. It's like it's us. This is the skeleton crew right here. Like the most
Yeah,
we have is if like Bear's here or Brett's here or Aaron's here. We say, hey, can you grab the mugs, or can you grab a beer, or can you grab us a water? That's the most that we have. Other than that, like, whereas when you have like a radio show or a TV show, it's like wires all over. Well, there are wires all over the place here, but that's because I'm not good at fucking tying up the wires. But look, this is like I got it cleaned up. I got the fucking plug up top now, son. We make
it's
moves.
okay if my mic wasn't on.
Like fuck you.
That would have been a wild ass episode. Not just talking to himself,
I mean,
just answering stuff like, "Yo, this dude has lost it."
it would just be the standard. Oh, it's Colompton. Dante fucked up something. We know Steve's there. He's talking to him, but whatever. Well, Manuel said he listened to the episode. He was like he had to crank it all the way up, but he still liked it. He was like it was a good episode. Just wish that the audio was better.
Yeah, that would have been a fun time. It's like, man, the second half that audio kicks in. Nice.
Well, yeah, I mean the audio kicked in after an hour.
Yeah, now I try to look. So I do see when I see a level of me, that means we're good.
Well, also what I try to look for too. So right now, when there's that pause, that it's but when it's like there's a pause and it's this huge like looks like a big ass piss stream, that means it's picking up off something else, and like it's grabbing all like the background noise here. So I try to keep an eye on that. So yeah, but yeah, I like those smaller shows. I mean anything that has like minimal involvement, I think is good.
Yeah, that size too for like hip hop, especially when you have like an actual DJ scratching on vinyl, the sound is so good. Like that punchy bass,
Yeah, I got you.
which at the few stadiums shows I've been to, the sound is terrible because
I
it's
bet.
just echoing, and I don't even believe we're listening to anything live.
We went to so we went to we've gone to a couple shows at Meriwether, Sarah and I. We went to see Maroon 5 there once, and we sat way in the back, like on the lawn. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. But the further away we got, the better it sounded. And so we were like, oh, that's the trick.
Yeah.
Then we saw Incubus, and we were like up front, couldn't really hear shit. Like we could hear it, but it was like, okay, it's just a bunch of noise. We are the old people here. And then we saw Cyndi Lauper, huge fan, and that was a weird one because like the opening acts were all sound good, but then when Cyndi Lauper got on stage, it's like the audio got weird. Like you
Yeah,
couldn't really.
I've had shows where like the audio's been off, and it just it sucks. It's like, who the frick was the audio guy that
Yeah.
fucked up? Especially when it's the main act. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
It was like, is Dante working audio for these guys? What the fuck? Fuck y'all. I remember Sarah's friend Crystal, her husband, he's in a band. He wanted me to be their sound tech. Like this was like years and years ago. It was like, we want you to, would you be interested in being a sound tech for us? I was like, I don't know what that is. So,
I think that job, if you're with a band, depending on, I mean, I think if you're with some kind of alpha guy who's on the band, you're gonna get lots of getting yelled at, and you're gonna have to be able to take it.
well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, because Eddie is kind of in that pocket of like, he yells at people when like, he's like, you gotta yell at people to get your way. And it's like, you yell at me and I'll slap the shit out
Yeah,
of you.
I've seen
So-
some sound guys the way they get yelled at. I'm like, ooh,
Like,
damn.
I will beat your ass.
This is in front of everyone, so it's like, I mean, I've seen freaking Everlast call out the dude, and he's like, "Yo, you have one fucking job, you can't do that shit." And I was like, "God damn, you didn't need to embarrass him like that." But I mean, he just gets so mad because I mean, in a way, he's right. Like,
The sound is important.
why is
You're
my
at a show.
microphone not on?
Yeah. Well, I remember when he asked me to do that, I was like, I told him I was like, I'd be interested, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that is. I have no idea of anything with it. So, though I appreciate you asking, you have to give me some time to figure out what the fuck that even means. And then eventually I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that because, like, just all the band stuff and like I was like, no. And then like, not that their music's bad, it isn't. I just don't care, because that's the thing is like if you're working with a band, you might want to be interested in what they're playing. You have to like their music, and again, I think the band plays well. They sound good. I just don't particularly care for their music. Others do, I think. I don't. So me being the sound tech would just be kind of a
And then they have
disaster.
the guys that set up the instruments. That too, like I believe they're responsible for tuning the guitars, and you have to be able to play a little bit because I've seen them before shows. Like they're playing, something to just make sure it sounds okay.
Nah, that's not some shit for me. I mean, if they got a flute, yeah, I
I
got
feel
you.
like that'd be a great position if. Oh, and this does happen. Sometimes the opening act has to do that, which then it makes sense because they're also, you know, musically inclined.
Yeah,
And they can
yeah,
do
that
that
makes
stuff.
sense. But it like even thinking about them as a smaller band. I mean, minimalist. You know, the fewer people touching things. Because I mean, again, you go to a Beyonce show, Lizzo, Taylor Swift. You know, these bigger shows. There's so many hands in the fucking pot.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift clip that I glanced over at, she was watching, looked like a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, it's kind of
And it's
ridiculous.
like, so they're doing that every night in every city.
Nah, wouldn't be me. But I'm sure they're getting paid well. I would hope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, imagine a stadium sellout for tickets, hundreds of dollars probably. So it's like probably millions of
Yeah, I was
dollars.
gonna say tickets, hundreds of dollars. Man, I'm hearing those prices talk about 14, like at the
So yeah, that's
max.
probably the resale.
Yeah.
Yeah, this. Oh yeah. By the way, the line. You know how the line gets at like 9:30 club. If you get there a little late, it like wraps around the building. So
Hmm.
I was there super early, and I haven't experienced this in a long time. 'Cause, you know, like everything's digital. But this is like a older club, so it's like my tickets were will call. It's like, oh, that's cool. I haven't done that in like since like the early 9:30 club
I
days.
haven't heard
Yeah,
that
I didn't know
term
that.
in a
So I was like
while.
in the line, or no, there was no line when I pick up my tickets. Then we go to a bar across the street. Then we come back, and it's like the 9:30 club. The lines around the building, but there's a gap between the ticket thing, the will call.
Yeah.
So I initially am thinking, well, they have to pick up their tickets. I already got mine, so I'm gonna go here. Like it's like I'm like line. I'm in the 20th person in line when I should be the 400th person in line. And then Bay's like, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to be here. I was like, yeah, they didn't get their tickets, so we're good. And then I started looking around like, oh no, we just butted. But now
Nah, you're good.
we're just gonna stay. No one said anything, so I was like, well,
I mean,
we
sometimes you just,
saved ourselves 45 minutes at least.
sometimes you gotta test those waters.
Yeah, just play dumb. No one said anything.
When we went to see I went with Winter Bernita to see MGK, and I that's exactly what happened. We saw the line wrapped around the building. I was like, just let's just walk up and see what happens. I was like, just follow me. And then we saw these two dudes up there. I went over, started talking to him, like, yo, what's going on, man? Just da 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 da. I was like, yo, you know who's opening for him? And he said, yeah, I can't remember the fucking dude, but he was like, oh shit, word. And then we just stayed. And then I had the flask on me. I was like, oh, you want? Yeah, yeah, all right, cool. And then security caught me with the flask. I was like, oh, fuck. But but the cool thing is, they took it. They probably thought I wasn't gonna come back for it. This shit's got my name on it. This was a gift. All right, fuck you. I'm coming back for my property. So I went
Yeah,
back
at least
over.
you got it back.
Yeah, like I'm excited. It's got my name on it. Like
So, I,
I don't think she spelled groomsman. I think it's supposed to be
man,
groomsmen,
so
like not man.
we mentioned that one song the other week. I didn't know who he was, Sam Smith, and you explained to me what clicked more when I got home that you said the other person in
Yeah.
that song was. I'm like, what? How's the voice sound so good?
Dude, I was listening to that song the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, like I like the melody to it, everything. I like the song a whole lot, and there's just a flow to it. But then I hear the chick's voice, and I'm like, no,
Yeah, does not
like that's
sound. Yeah.
not.
So no, regardless, but I see an interview popped up and went viral this weekend over him because he likes to fish, but he didn't want to be called fisherman, so he casually was like a fisher them. I want to be a fisher them. And I was like, do we really have to get that? So like, I'm pretty sure even a female fisherman would be fine being called fisherman. Like, because you just say fisherman, fisherman.
So
I don't think of a man when I hear that. It's just the name.
so I saw an article yesterday. I don't read articles much because there's not enough pictures in them. But it was talking about the Oscars. Angela Bassett did not win, as we did discuss. Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting
Yeah.
Actress, and later on in the show, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors were up, He gave a little shout out to Angela Bassett, and he calls her auntie because of the line from Black Panther, where he's been brought into the throne room, and then they find out who he is, and he goes, "Hey, auntie." So that's always been kind of a running thing now, and he called her auntie. Shouted it out, and the article is basically talking about how a lot of women don't like being called auntie. Now, when an article says a lot of women doesn't like to be called auntie, it's like, okay, did you do a survey? What women are we talking about? It was posted on Facebook. um, Maya, she posted it, so I started reading the comments, and of course, tons of class of '97 people are saying like, oh no, I don't like the term either. Da, da, da. So I'm like, okay, why not? Why don't we like the term? And then it turned to this whole thing like, well, basically, if you're not my nephew or niece, don't call me auntie. It's like, okay, I guess. I thought it was going to go a little bit more nefarious, but then it did. It did, because then further down into the article, it started talking about that was also a slur that white folks would use. I'm sorry, white people. There's a difference between white people and white folks. I'll get into that. White people would call black women, call them auntie, and I was like, okay, just stop, please. Can we just fucking stop with all the taking words away? We can't say this. We can't say that.
Snoop calls her just about everybody nephew that he's
Yeah,
friends with.
yeah. Everyone's nephew. Everyone's nephew. I mean, I got friends with kids that the kids call me Uncle Dante, and that's fine. It's like I appreciate it. It's weird, but it's fine. I don't make a gripe about it. Um, and the thing is about it all, it's like, look, if you don't like it, you don't need to make a big deal about it. I always feel like when people go on these interviews and they say shit like what Sam Smith said, it's like, did anyone ask you though? Like, is anyone calling you a fisher them or a fisherman? It's like,
It's just well, so that made me think that. Did they still go? What are the awards, by the way, of the Oscars? I don't know. Do they go by actor and actress? So
yeah,
separate?
yep.
Which that is kind of weird. So are we gonna have a them category?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's well. So I was watching Survivor a couple years ago, and it was after COVID. It was the first one after COVID, but I think it was filmed maybe right before it, or I don't know. But either way, so Jeff Probst, who's the host, he's been doing that shit since God knows when. 21 years now, 22 years. God damn, dude, relax.
So we'll have a them category. It is kind of weird now to think about it, like why the Grammys and Oscars have a male female category. Just be like best actor.
Yeah. So like, on Survivor, Jeff Camp, whenever he would come out, he would say, come on in, guys. And then he stopped and goes, you know what? I guess in light of everything going on at the time, I was like, you know, are you are you all okay with me saying that, or would you prefer me to say something else? And everyone said, you know what? We don't fucking care. Say it. So the show goes on. They compete. They do their fucking reward challenge, tribal, blah blah blah. So the next episode comes up, and this one guy, he goes, you know what? I think I prefer you not say guys. It's like nobody else had any gripe with it. One person. Nah, I prefer you not say guys. Just and the thing is, for me, I will respect anyone who, like, if you tell me, like, if you came here and said, hey, could you just refer to me as him or them, they, which in most cases I do actually refer to most people as just that. I don't bring up gender too often unless it's relevant to the story. Sometimes I'm just randomly talking at work and I'll say they or them. Not because I care about pronouns or whatever the
Dang,
fuck.
so things are about to get tricky. We already have it happening in sports, so then
Not
it's
for
going to
me.
start happening in acting. Someone's going to throw a fit that they didn't win best actress or actor because they were in the wrong category of what they wanted to be
Next
in.
year, Angela Bassett gonna switch. Like, I'm not.
See, if they had the where it didn't matter what gender you were, she would be taking that. I feel like this last year.
Man,
Eh, I love that movie, but Jamie Lee Curtis was not
Yeah,
anything I thought like. Damn, she was great in that.
the fucking daughter from the movie
Yeah, she
was
was way
better.
better, way better.
So I don't know,
I
man.
mean, with Jamie Lee, she had some silly fingers on her, some hot
Yeah,
dogs
hot
on her
dog
finger.
fingers. It was like,
She's good at playing those hot dogs on her fingers.
I will say this: the one thing that she kind of pointed out, and there's almost kind of like a applause for it, but then at the same time, when I think about it, I was like, damn, no, not really though. You know, motherfuckers, it's like you've aged up. So this is what it is. But she was like, everyone who won tonight, we were all genre actors. Jamie Lee Curtis was always in horror films. That's how she made her career. Brendan Fraser, he was, in all those fucking, silly, kind of like tongue-in-cheek comedy films. Short Round from Indiana Jones and what is it, 16 Candles, I believe. You know, genre films. And the thing is, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, you're right, but also as you grow up, as you get, more mature in your career, you probably do stuff. It's no secret that a lot of them can actually act very well, but they want to stick in those specific roles because, like, look, I have fun playing these roles. I have fun doing this genre. But every so often they step out and say, you know what, fuck it, let me take a leap. Brendan Fraser, I mean, he was blacklisted in Hollywood for a very long time. He comes back, he wins the Oscar for The Well. Probably won't watch it. I heard he did phenomenal. I don't know. That's where it always gets weird with me when it comes to like acting. When people are like, "Oh my god, they can't act." I was like, I guess I don't know. I mean, there's not too many people I watch in a movie. I'm like, oh, God, the acting's so bad. Every so often, I might see something, maybe a scene, but not. The girl from Ant Man 3, who plays the daughter. I didn't think she didn't. She felt very stiff, and her dialogue was really weird. But I don't think that's her. I think that was the director because I've seen her in other stuff, and I was like, oh, like it was a fun journey watching her in Paranormal Activity, and what's the other one with Vince Vaughn, Freaky, like kind of a playoff for Freaky Friday where they switch bodies, because she was a you know school mascot. She was like the loser kid in school. She switches bodies with a serial killer. Now all of a sudden she's fucking cool and she's fucking murderous, and it was great. But whenever people play this whole thing like oh this actor's good versus this actor not being good, or Brendan Fraser did wonderful in that role. I mean, probably. I don't know. I'm glad he's got some recognition, but I kind of feel like also he got blacklisted for many years. I know you need a paycheck, got to get that money, but I don't really like, man, turn around, like, tell them to go fuck themselves. I wish he would have got up on stage and pulled a Fiona Apple. That's why she disappeared, because she got up there and won an award and said this industry is bullshit, and she disappeared. I wish he would
We
have did the same thing.
we have a lot of those awards too, like where people want if an actor did a big transformation to their body, then
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
Ooh,
he wins because he did this, and I was like,
but that was a lot of
that's impressive,
that was
but
prosthetics though on
no.
him for that one. But I get what you're saying. It's like what's her name, Charlize Theron, when she played the serial killer and she gained all that weight, and then dropped that shit quick. Showed up to the Golden Globes looking fly. I was like, yeah, girl, represent Africa. I don't know, but good for Jamie Lee, but Angela should have won it.
Would Charlize Theron be if she's American? Would she be an African
Yes, she
American?
is. She's my favorite African American. I don't know how it counts though. She's South Africa.
Yeah, so she's
That's,
South African American.
yeah,
Because I feel like if you say South African American, you are going to assume white. The way
yeah.
you sound.
That's what I mean. That's my assumption anyway. But either way, I think she's a beautiful human. Although she got pissed. They asked her to play a role in Wonder Woman. She assumed it was for Wonder Woman. They're like, no, we want you to be her mom. She was like,
Excuse me.
she was like, nah, we good. I mean, she could have done either one, but no. I mean, I think who played it? Jenna from Forrest Gump played Wonder Woman's mom. Always forget her name. Oh, you know why I forget her name? Because she used to be married to Sean Penn and they got divorced. So I just forgot her altogether. It's fucked up, but
Sean
that
Penn's
is
a
the truth.
wild dude. He just looks like he had a rough life.
Had you not ever seen like the Hollywood stories about this dude? He did have a rough life. I mean, like as a celebrity, this dude's out there fighting the paparazzi. He married Madonna.
Yeah, I mean he looks like his. I mean
Yo,
he almost acts like his characters. Like
he
he's good at
yo,
playing tough guys because he's kind
like
of
he's
that
a
guy.
wild dude. He just be doing wild shit, just showing up to the party. Like, hey y'all, Sean's here. Oh, fuck, hide the coke.
Him and I feel like Mickey Rourke would have been a. I feel like they would have hung out.
They probably did hang out. Like, what do you mean? You feel like they would have hung out? I bet they did hang out.
Like,
I bet Sean Penn convinced him to get the
they
plastic
probably.
surgery. Sean Penn was probably like, "You won't do it."
Yeah, I can see them back then just getting in all types of fights.
To get with each other. Then they turn around like somebody says, "Hey, break it up." And then they just go jump the other
It's
dude.
wild as Freddie Roach. That was like his first client was Mickey Rourke, and then he went on to man or train some of the biggest boxers ever. I believe it began with Freddie Roach. I mean, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, kind of like just talk about them fighting. I don't care about Freddie Roach. Like I don't like roaches. They scare me, and they fly. Like that's weird. Hey, it's been 30 minutes.
Let's review this beer because I got
Fucking right.
interesting.
Plus, I
notes
gotta
on it.
piss,
All right, I'm bringing sexy back
dude. I think I'm drunk.
with this beer. That's what it's called.
Oh,
But it's bringing sexy back extra.
oh,
So another one that's on the steroids of a original version.
I love steroids.
So it's by Aslan Beer Company. Aslan. Herndon, Virginia. It's a New England IPA. And it has sweet berry, ripe peach, and mango hops. And it's a double IPA. So I thought this was pretty good. It had a nice color. Kind of poured like an orange juice. Not overly fruity, but it had a nice taste. And this one is a 9.4%. We bring in sexy back extra. It's 9.4.
Nice, love it. Music is perfect for the occasion. I liked it. It tastes delicious. 9.4 is a good number.
Hey, I couldn't tell that it was 94 at all.
Yeah, I would have never guessed it, but I'm a little loopy, so I don't know if it's because I'm tired and dehydrated or what, but it was delicious. It got me a little fucking little saucy. Um, I'm gonna actually give this a 7.6. I enjoyed this quite a bit.
I gave it a 7.9.
Yeah, I mean,
We haven't had an
it,
8 in quite a while.
I thought about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do 8,
So,
but I know I really liked
I
it.
believe you talked about this, or you in the episode. I don't remember, but I didn't know what you were talking about. Then I saw it in
I
the
don't
store.
never know what I'm talking
So
about.
I don't. We got the weird top beer.
Oh yes, yes.
I've seen them, but yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about at the time. And now I'm like,
Well, I always see people with them at parties,
this is
and it
some,
confuses
this
me.
is some, yeah. I feel like if you brought this to a party, you're being extra.
Oh, dude, Gene, like he would always show up with those. It's like, yo, what are you doing, dude? Just get something with a fucking.
Like
You need the
this
fucking
top
bottle
is some
opener.
extra shit. Like I can't even imagine the extra steps
Hey,
this takes.
don't even point that in my direction
Yeah,
when you
I'm-
open it,
I'm
because
like,
that shit like fucking flies
okay.
and puts an eye out.
Just do that.
Oh, word.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah, I'm
God
scared.
Damn, that got me too.
Oh, see,
All
fucking
right, that was
around.
funsies.
Just didn't sound it. Yo, but I'm fucks with that bottle, son.
Give me a little heart scare.
All right, let's dig
I
into
hope
this
that
one.
sound picked up pretty good.
I don't know. I heard it, but we'll see.
Well, I felt it on my face.
That's what she said. And then she said, "Don't do it again." And then I did. This time in her eye. Okay, let's go ahead and get some pour action in here. I'm not gonna go all in on this one,
It's not
but I went pretty
terrible.
pretty
So
hefty.
doesn't have that skunky smell. Maybe that's how they avoid it.
Let's see. Ugh. It's not great. It's not terrible.
I feel like it tastes like a really basic beer.
So the taste that I get from it is like That first sip was like, ugh, caught me off guard. But after a few more, I'm like, okay, I'm in for it. But yeah, it's very basic. It's like the basic bitch of beers.
Gloss. Gross.
I am close.
So, yeah. I mean, would anyone buy this beer here if it didn't have the fancy little top? Probably not.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy it just period.
So, snap.
That
Now I like that. I see one benefit now.
oh,
You can
oh,
reseal your beer.
yeah, it keeps it fresh. All right, I don't know that's a bonus point.
Genius. All right, let's get these on all the beers.
Bonus points right
So
there.
I'm always
son.
putting like my top back on the beer.
Yeah. Like when it's a twist off, it's like if it's like you got to use a bottle opener, you're like, oh shit, how do I do this? And you're like punching it on. All right, let's see here. So NFL free agency.
Oh yes.
We had some
Pulled up
moves.
some stuff because we had a lot of moves. Damn,
Yeah.
actually, I'm liking this, and the more and more I've had it, drinking
Let's
it.
see.
It's almost like maybe that it's settled a little bit. Got some of the.
So I don't like the smell, but the taste is fine. The taste is pretty decent. Hold the thought real quick. I'm gonna go piss real quick, and then we'll get into the free agents and shit. All right, and we're back, good people.
Yeah, this guy just said he wants the table even closer to the bathroom.
I like hearing people piss.
We're
It's
only
weird.
8 steps away. So I think you just want to get to the point. You
8
could
steps.
actually sit in the toilet while we're recording, and then you just go.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but like, look, I have to. If you see where I'm sitting, I'm back
Yeah,
in
you
a
do have
corner.
4
I have
more
to come
extra
around.
steps.
Fuck you! It's not 8 steps. It's like fucking 15 or 16. Plus, I'm coming from around here.
That's pretty convenient, dude.
Fuck you.
We didn't have a bathroom. Remember, we had to go all the way upstairs.
Yeah, I
3
mean,
floors. There was all types of instruction
Look,
you had to follow.
that's the whole thing, though.
And
is
that's why I'm
that,
confused. You had to leave the light on up there, but you turn it off down here.
Like the
So,
thing is
lots
like
of rules.
that's kind of my whole point though about the world. It's like the better we have it, the more we bitch about. Okay, yeah, we got a bathroom. Like if we were fucking recorded in the bathroom, I would complain because the sound was
I know what's
weird.
gonna happen. You're gonna take down this closet just so we can be closer to the bathroom.
Maybe I'm actually thinking about doing something with this fucking closet anyway. It's a pain in the ass.
Like, there's a table right outside the bathroom. That's gonna be our new setup.
Maybe. I mean, honestly,
And the fridge, you'd be close. You might not even have to get up. You can
Yeah.
just reach into the fridge.
right. See, I think about that fridge all the time because when that shit dies, how's that getting out of here? Because we couldn't even get that one couch down here.
I've actually never had a fridge.
You never had a fridge die? Is that what it like you cut off a little bit? Yeah, nor have I.
So, who makes these fridges? Why do fridges last freaking forever?
As the British would say, I've never had a fridge die. Touch wood. It's knock on wood, but you know.
Yeah, why are fridges so graded, lasting forever?
I don't know, but I know our hot water jump off in the back. It was like brand new when we got here. I was like, how long is that supposed to last before it blows up? I just got to know so I can move shit. I don't want the basement to get flooded again. So,
Yeah, I think our water heaters last around like 10 years only.
that's what I think I said that Sarah. She looked it up. She was like, no, I think they last longer now. And I was like, maybe. I don't know. But like I'm thinking I started the podcast, after the ceiling collapsed. So there's that plus to it all. Anyhow, NFL free agents. Let's get into it.
All right. I'm going to call some out and we'll say what we think about it.
All right.
One that just happened today. Adam Thielen,
Oh, he found a home.
North Carolina.
Oh, you mean Carolina Panthers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they go by North Carolina, dude.
Man, they have the colors.
With the Panthers, didn't they just pick up a quarterback? What's his name? From Washington.
Oh, no, he went to Atlanta. So Taylor Heineke went to Atlanta, which I believe he did play there. Once
Atlanta, Carolina, they're the same thing to me.
He could potentially start. So they have Desmond Ritter. Ritter.
Ritter. It
It'd be
the
tight if it
Riddler.
was the Riddler.
Yes, it would be better.
I mean, he didn't look too impressive, but keep in mind he
He
was his
was a
first
rookie.
year. Yeah, I'm
He's a
tired
rookie on a
of
shitty team.
people forgetting. Like, let's give him a little bit more than 4 games.
Yeah. I mean, training camp will be there. They'll compete, but I don't think that's a bad move. in Carolina for him.
No, I was hoping because I think he knew his role if he was going to stay here, that he'd be insurance and a mentor. But then that leads us to Washington. We got Jacoby Brissett,
I,
which
I
is
like it.
actually an upgrade for sure over Taylor
Mhm.
Heineke. So Brissett always had a big arm. Um, he always, I feel like he always had to play for shitty teams. So it's kind
Yeah.
of difficult to gauge how good he was.
I mean, when he was good, he had those flashes of good. But the
So
thing
he was
is,
on the Colts, right? And then he
Colts,
was
the
playing with the
Browns,
Browns,
he
but it
played.
was
He was on
Watson's.
the Patriots, but he was just backup. I don't know how much play time he got. Um, but I like that move though.
Yeah, so I mean, I just hope it's not, and it shouldn't be picking him to be our like draft or signing him to be the starter. It's to get a quality veteran
Yeah,
backup.
I think he's there to kind of
So
mentor.
unless Howell just completely
Just,
looks horrendous,
I mean, but that's that insurance policy though.
yeah,
If he is that
and
bad,
he's a good team player. Like in all the interviews, he's like team first.
yeah.
He knows what to say. It doesn't seem. I mean, seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. We've mentioned Derek Carr, right, going to the
Yeah.
Saints, and now they got
Um,
your boy, right, Williams.
man, look, man, I can't tell you how fucking heartbroken I was because when I saw
Yeah, he's always a crowd favorite.
Detroit signed David Montgomery, and I was like, wait, what's going on? Why'd they sign him? And then I saw Jamal Williams sign with the Saints, and I was just like, oh my god, yo.
So I believe Alvin Kamara might be in some kind of trouble. There's a
Oh
video
yeah.
of him, so I would assume he's going to get some kind of suspension time out of that.
Hmm.
Um,
And he sucks anyway. That's a fact. I don't on a fantasy team. He's fucking
yeah,
trash.
well, he's a good receiving back, but yeah, not
Yeah.
the greatest of
He's never had a thousand
rushing.
yard season.
Yeah.
So there's that. He's trash. That's a fact.
Well, now you got Jamal Williams, the touchdown stealer. So don't draft Alvin Kamara because Williams
I
is going to
won't.
get all. Williams might get 3 carries in the game. He's going to have 3 touchdowns.
That's all right. Wait, what was the stat line with Jerome Bettis? He had like 5 carries, 3 touchdowns, and 1 yard.
Yeah, 1 yard.
Like, I'm all
Had
right
a
with
great
that.
fantasy game. 18 points.
It's fucking wonderful, dude. People hate, but don't. But so I think the Saints are trying to. I think that there's this ideal there. It seems like it's like, all right, let's go ahead and try to build this team back up.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this. The NFC, if you look at the NFC as a whole of who the quarterbacks, and assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Jets, Brady's now gone. I feel like the top 5 quarterbacks, it's pretty shitty. It's like Kirk Cousins,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the NFC guys besides Washington's right now. But Jalen Hurts,
Hurts.
you're gonna have to put Daniel Jones probably in the top 5 in NFC. It's that bad. And Dak, which also is pretty bad,
Yeah.
leader in interceptions. But it's like,
And he missed 5 games. Like, yo, how you gonna come back and lead? He led the league in interceptions after his return. And I was like, God damn, dude, you making up for lost time.
yeah. I mean, then you have some quarterbacks that maybe will be on the rise, like Chicago's, but he's not good at throwing the ball as of now. San Francisco, who they have now? They got the dude from Carolina, Darnold, and then they have their third string guy that's probably gonna be the starter. So maybe Purdy, maybe he's top 5. I almost wonder if him though, he just have a really good year, and it's like one of those players we talked about that had one.
Yeah.
They played like half a year, played really good, got a contract, and then sucked.
Scott Mitchell, Matt Flynn.
Zeke got cut. That's a big one.
That makes me happy.
And I believe someone said on one of those sports shows that there's never been a more big fall once someone got paid than Zeke of the decline that happened.
I can't think of anyone off top, but I mean, man, fuck that dude. I mean, when he got drafted, I mean that was kind of the big thing. It was like, oh, this is gonna be like he's the next Emmitt Smith. He's like the next great running back, and he's going to Dallas. Blah 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 blah. All that bullshit. And the thing is, it's like, okay, I mean,
He had an outstanding line when he was good.
yeah,
And he did have a little burst to him. I mean, he was a little bit hard to tackle, but now, I mean, he has no burst at all. He gets tackled super easily. The one thing I will give him credit for is he does block pretty well, pass block,
good for
except
him.
when he was center. When he just got rocked.
That makes me so happy.
We got David Montgomery going to Detroit, which is he's a quality back when he's there, but now you guys got like stud running backs that are very injury prone.
Yeah, it's like Jamal. God damn it, yo, why, yo?
Swift is a top running back
Yeah, when
if
he's healthy.
and probably Montgomery too. So I mean,
Yeah,
Montgomery's played on a shitty team, so now he's going to a really good offense. So assuming they're gonna be about the same. So
well,
maybe Montgomery has a freaking huge year if he
maybe.
could have some big numbers with no passing game.
I mean, the thing is though, and this was kind of the issue with the running back by committee is, I mean, you got Swift, you got Montgomery, so you got two good running backs. I mean, we just saw that happen in Dallas. I mean, as much shit as I talk about Zeke, I mean, he still has the potential there. So we look at Montgomery and Swift. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? For the team, it benefits for sure, I guess. But then it's like hot hand stays in. But what if they're both hot? What if they're both trash? I mean, is
Or
David
what if
Montgomery
they
going to
both
be?
get hurt?
Yeah, because that's very likely. Or and then you lost your touchdown machine. I mean, Jamal Williams was not bad. I mean, when Green Bay let him go, it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let him go because we got a homeboy up here. And I mean, it wasn't terrible to keep Aaron Jones, but it's like you had a machine in Jamal Williams, both Green Bay and Detroit, and they let him go. Assholes.
Juju Smith is going to New England. That's
Um,
probably their number one receiver now.
Easily.
Miles Sanders going to Carolina.
Um,
Carolina's getting a lot of older.
yeah.
So they also got Andy Dalton.
So Carolina's basically committed to being trash. Is what they're doing. Well, they have the number one pick, so they're basically going to draft the quarterback into trash. So that's cool. It's cool. I expect
See
them to have the
any
number one
other
pick
big
next year too.
names? I mean, a lot of Philly had a lot of free agents. A lot of them ended up staying. Trying to see Jamal Williams. We did Fletcher Cox going back. Cole Holcomb of Washington. He's a good, one of the only good linebackers that he's going to Pittsburgh, and someone else is going to Pittsburgh. Patrick Peterson is going to Pittsburgh.
I mean,
Hayden Hurst is going to Carolina. Von Bell's going to Carolina.
okay.
Yo, Carolina's loading up Thielen and Sanders. They're getting all. They're gonna be like They're gonna be the oldest team in the league. Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders.
Trash.
Let's build
Trash.
our team with people that used to be good.
Let's get all the guys who gonna break a hip. You know what happens when you break a hip? You got to shoot them.
Jacoby Myers is going to the Raiders.
Real quick, about Carolina. Actually, hold on. Let me find this joint real quick because I thought about it earlier this week because I was listening to another podcast. One of my favorite podcasts, actually, called Sisters Who Kill. It's when black women be killing people. So I like to listen to that. So Carolina had Ray Caruth and that whole situation. And shortly thereafter, actually, no, probably, yeah, shortly after the whole Ray Caruth situation, running back Fred Lane was killed by his wife. It was like Carolina just can't get their shit together, can they? And now they picking up all these bum ass players. They may as well just relocate. Go to like what's a good city for them to go to? LA be collecting teams. Just some LA. They're not shy about having extra teams in fucking LA. So or Tulsa.
Dang, some of these I didn't even realize. Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert are staying. Both of them staying in Miami. I was
That's
wondering
wild.
about that because they traded both of them,
Hmm.
and they were both from San Francisco at different times.
That's wild.
Marcus Mariota, I didn't know he signed, but he's with
Yeah.
Philly now.
Hmm.
Actually, that might make sense as a
He
backup.
knows his
Right?
role.
He can run the ball.
He understands.
Some backup. Let's call him a backup running back that might throw the ball. Darnold in San Francisco. That was an interesting move considering
Yeah.
Purdy, and then they have the Trey.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Yay.
Baker is a big one. So Baker went to is signed with Tampa Bay.
That's interesting though. Very interesting. I kind of like it.
Minshew, who was for Philly, now went to the Colts.
That sounds about right.
He could potentially get some playing time depending on who they draft. or
That's
when
why
they're
it sounds
ready.
about right. They ain't got no other options.
I'm not seeing any other names worth mentioning now. Philip Dorsett. Oh, he's on the Raiders. Another receiver.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
So
they got two receivers picked up.
didn't they trade homeboy, the tight end?
Yep. He went to the Giants. So Waller.
Yeah,
And he was pretty good.
yeah. So Baltimore make any moves? Of course they didn't.
They're still trying to sign their quarterback. I don't think they can make any moves till they know how much money they have.
Exactly, because they fucking suck.
No one signed. Here's the players available, some of them. This is a great list, the first few. Carson Wentz, no one's calling yet. Matt Ryan. Damn, Matt Ryan's 37.
Damn.
I guess if you just play long enough, you don't even retire. It's just no one wants you anymore.
Yo, Matt Ryan, like when I look at Matt Ryan, he looks every bit of 37. Like I don't know what 37 looks like, but if I had to guess, it would be Matt Ryan.
Kenny Galladay. What a disappointment
Oh
he was.
wow, yeah, what a drop off. That's what happens when you leave
Zeke,
Detroit.
no one signed yet.
He'll find a home. He still has some.
Robbie Anderson
play.
get cut.
He might stay cut.
Yeah, he's been a problem.
Anybody
wherever
pick up
he's
Des
gone.
Bryant yet?
Oh, DJ Chark from Detroit.
They let him. They didn't.
He's a free agent, so as of now, no one signed him. Leonard
Wow.
Fournette's available.
Hmm.
I think Fournette's not as old as you would think.
Fournette-
He looks
no.
old.
Yo, he looked old in middle school.
Julio Jones still available.
Huh, okay.
Yo, I thought it was funny. The past few years, people kept drafting him in fantasy earlier. I was like, yo, that dude won. I'd have stayed away from him because when he was on Atlanta, the man had 100 catches with one touchdown. Like, how's that possible?
I mean,
That dude is allergic to touchdowns.
possession receiver. Don't hate him.
It's like, nah, I don't fuck with the goal line. Nah.
He was like, "Oh, we in the red zone. Go ahead and put me out, coach."
Joe Flacco's still available.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Detroit. You need a backup.
The Ravens might need to call him.
I hope. Oh my God! Could you imagine the callback and then the fans just start going crazy?
I can say that if he
he's
does
elite.
come back and then he wins that first game, Baltimore will be all in.
Of course they would. Even if he doesn't start. If Flacco comes back and they win, they're like, Flacco's elite. He's the good luck charm. Like, shut the fuck up. God, I hate Baltimore fans. A lot.
I think we covered all the big ones.
All right. Well, that's good.
Want to rate this beer now?
Yeah, let's jump into
We
that.
had this special top. I'm gonna give it a little bonus point for this top.
Yeah, it gets a half a point for me off the top.
I thought it was real silly until I realized you can reseal your beer perfectly.
It's fucking clutch. All right.
All right. So this is called. I assume it's pronounced Grolsch,
Yeah, I trust you.
and it's actually from the Netherlands, and it's funny as this beer can be called a lager or a pilsner depending on what your bottle says. So we'll say it's both.
Sure.
But it is 5%. I would put this in the party beer category.
Yeah, this is for sure a
'cause
party
this is
beer.
it has that mass-produced taste. Like there's nothing. This is like some cheap ingredients.
Now,
But
I've
I
seen
think
people
it's
bring
done
it to
well.
the party. So
I think it's done well. I mean, I think they did well if they're cheap ingredients.
you did the best you could with what you had, buddy.
Yeah, I mean it's not like an IPA. There's nothing special going on.
No.
I'm willing to bet the ingredients are this are like four ingredients.
The ingredients
The
are
the
what they found in the
absolute
kitchen.
minimum you need to make beer.
All right. That
But
dude.
the more I drank it, the more there was an initial taste that wasn't as pleasant, but then it's like almost like when it settled, I didn't have any of like skunkiness, and then I kind of like it actually.
Dude, you think I could order wings right now?
DoorDash probably.
Yeah, but that's like $40 for the delivery. No, I'm good. Let's see. You said Brett's doing that. Let me see if I get Brett to deliver it. Like,
He was out all day. I didn't even see him.
let's see here, dude. I want wings. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna tell Sarah we having wings tomorrow for dinner. She don't know it yet, but I'm just gonna come home with a bag of wings, not cooked. Just make it happen. So you said 5%.
5%.
Um,
Got a fancy top.
so the top helps, but what I mean, those are points for the bottle.
It also seemed like it was bigger.
It looked it until, I
feel
mean,
like we did. Let's see if I can see anything on here.
I hear that all the time though. It looks bigger until the
Yeah.
party starts.
So 15 ounces. I think a beer is what, 12 usually?
12, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a little
an extra
bigger.
3
I like
ounces.
that. Makes the party more fun, and then you can reseal your beer, so you don't have to worry about those 3 extra ounces.
Yeah, I mean,
No one's gonna
it's
roofie you. You got a safety cap.
not still roofie the fuck out of somebody. Ooh, I wonder if I should edit that out.
Probably.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, it's all right. So I still like other party beers more than this. I didn't particularly care for the taste itself, but I love the bottle. Like that top does help. Um, what's the regular for the party beers? Like sixes?
6.8, I believe, was Miller Lite. We
Well, this
just did the what was the last day? San Miguel got a 7 from you and a 7.2 from me, and I believe that was probably our highest
for
the
a party beer. This is gonna get a 6.4, and it only got that 4 because of the top. Otherwise, it would have been 6.3 for me. It's not terrible, but I'm not. Like you hand this to me at the party, I'm gonna drink it. But if anybody shows up to the party with one of these, they're not sharing anyway. Like it's a
Like,
fact.
nah, I can reseal my beer. I'm not sharing this.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how it goes. I was like, why would I share? Fuck you.
I'll go. Again, maybe it's just maybe the first beer helped, but I found it kind of good. I'm gonna go 6. I'm changing my score. 6.8.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. It just had a weird.
I did get
You know
that
what
the
it was?
initial one.
The smell. I didn't like the smell. The taste wasn't terrible. I don't know.
I was expecting it to be more skunky like Heineken, but it wasn't that skunky like that.
Yeah, it should have been.
All right.
So, all right. So it's March Madness time. NCAA tournaments. All right. So I'm just gonna pull up the upsets because I'm not really going through all these things.
It was wow. It was like day one, 20 million people. Not one is perfect.
I think they said after like day one or day two, there were 20 total perfect brackets still left out of like millions. It was like big millions. I was like, yeah, which is wild because it was like, so somebody picked that Arizona upset, which I almost did, but then I did it and I put Arizona in the finals. So my bracket's fucked. So let's see here. I'm just gonna go. Let's go through here. Alabama beat Texas A and something. That's not A&M, is it? I don't think it is. Anyhow, Alabama won. Maryland just barely beat West Virginia. Furman beat Virginia. Furman was the number 13 seed, but that happens every year though. We get 12 and 13s all the time making it to the next round. Let's see, where's my next upset? Princeton beat Arizona. 15 versus 2. So they made it through. Give me another upset. Oh yeah, this was the real upset. I'm sorry.
Ferland won.
Yeah. FDU beat Purdue. What's the fucking fair something Dixon? University up in Jersey. So basically, two Jersey schools out there upsetting teams. Florida is an 8 versus a 9. I don't think the 9 is really
That's
an
not a big
upset.
upset.
That's not an upset. You're
In
supposed to
these
win, bitch.
days, it's not as big of a difference as it used
Yeah,
to be.
you're supposed to win.
'Cause now, anyway, if you're good, you win good going to the NBA.
Pittsburgh beat Iowa State 11 over a 6. So again, usually every tournament we get at least 1, 11, 12, and one. We get a 12, 11, 13, and a 14 usually. Let's see here. 10 over a 7. I don't really count that as an upset. Penn State beat Texas A&M, the real Texas A&M. Auburn, who was a 9, beat number 8 Iowa. Not shocked. Let's see here. Any other big ones? No. Looks like everything was business as usual. Yeah.
I did do a bracket with Schultz. He gave an invite. I don't know anything watching college, and I
Yeah.
bet a lot on NBA. And pretty much every night, I'm like up a level or down a level. But it's like I'm betting a small amount on each game just for fun.
Oh,
I'm getting lots of credits.
let's see here. All right, so second round. I'm sorry, second round happened today, I guess. Princeton, number 15, beat Missouri, number 7. Creighton, number 6, beat number 3 Baylor. The Cinderella story ended for fucking that one school that beat Purdue. What's their name? Yo, I keep clicking their name and it won't take me to it.
I don't have a webpage.
I've clicked their name 4 times and it's just said, nah, we're not telling you their name. But they lost, so the Cinderella story ends. Duke lost, yay. Michigan State, number 7, beat number 2 Marquette, but it's Michigan State. We expect them to make the fucking Sweet 16. Let's see here. Any other? No, there's no other. Arkansas, number 8, beat Kansas, number 1. And that's pretty much it. So it looks like the NCAAs might kind of go on pretty okay. I'm going for Princeton the whole way.
So I'm looking at the bracket I joined, and it was a decent pot. If I win this pot, I'm gonna get a TV for the bedroom. I'm not gonna win, but I am currently in second. But I have more possible points than the people around me, and I'm barely in second. But the thing that's gonna matter is all the people around me have picked Alabama, which is probably the most popular pick to win it all. So I'd assume one of those people will win. But I did pick Gonzaga,
Yeah,
and I
so
don't
did
think anyone else has Gonzaga near the top. Yeah, the only other person's way down on the list. So if Gonzaga somehow wins, I would think I'm likely to win. But I don't know how the scoring is. If like every round is the same points, that would suck. Hopefully, if you pick the final bracket, you get some extra points for that.
Yeah, where the rest
Is
is
my
my
final
bracket at?
four still?
Oh, there's Gonzaga. Well, Gonzaga's losing right now by 7.
I know I lost
Oh,
some.
wait, that's the game on the TV.
Oh shit!
I didn't
Oh,
realize
like
I had the
down
games
7, you
on.
scared me. It's early.
Yeah, no, it's early, dude.
But it's still
But
a
I
little
picked them.
troubling.
I picked them to win it all.
Oh,
So
I did too. So now we're about to be out.
great. I mean, I already lost fucking
I
Arizona.
just
So
jinxed it.
yeah, fuck. My bad, dude. Mine was for free. No. Oh, what the fuck? That's an interesting color. Is that fucking a
I
dehydrated
mean, it's like
pisser?
the color of the dang can, and it's Guinness.
I guess.
I was like, oh, this is Irish, even though we're late. But it's not Irish. Because this Guinness
I
is
should've
made
poured
in
it in another glass.
Halefort.
I can't smell it.
This is not the Ireland Guinness
I would imagine not.
because it's called El Dorado.
But yeah, so that's our update on the NCAA's. So real quick, we talked about this a few weeks back, when Brett was here, and I was like, hey, can you define woke for me? And to your credit, I think you definitely like hit the nail on the head. Shockingly, I thought Brett would have. I felt like, okay, Brett's in the know. Brett was not. So I was a little disappointed in that. But there was I guess some lady wrote a book talking about wokeism and giving all the earmarks of wokeism. And then the news reporter says,
Yeah, I did see that. I asked her to explain it, and she had nothing.
"Oh man, hold on, I just want to play this here
And she
for
knew
us."
she'd be a clip. This is gonna be a viral clip. It's
Oh,
like,
hold
but
on.
I think she clearly didn't know what it meant.
No, because that's the thing. Everyone who's screaming about something's woke and something's not woke, they don't know what it even fucking means. So they just make up their own definition. Hold on, I want to share with the class.
And probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we
What
talk
does that
about
mean to
traditional
you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that I this is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean,
Yep.
woke is something that's very
You're on
hard to define,
Colompton.
and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and
What
reteach
are you
society
talking
in
about?
order to create hierarchies of
What?
oppression.
She's just making it up now. She's making up words.
Sorry,
Hierarchy to create
it's hard to
oppression.
explain in a 15-second soundbite.
But yeah, look, your time.
Americans consider themselves.
You have more than 15 seconds. So,
I think she just heard certain things were woke and had this idea in her mind without actually thinking what it meant.
well, the funny thing is, I was telling Sarah the other night too. It's like motherfuckers like to find a buzzword and run with it. They misdefine words. You'll take a word like grooming. It's like everyone's a groomer now. It's like, oh, like you watch My Little Pony, you're a groomer. Probably though, they probably are. I feel like dudes watching My Little Pony might be into some weird shit. But it's like basically they look for like shit. Like, oh, you do this, well, you're a groomer. It's like, oh, you eat pizza, you're a groomer. It's like, yo, y'all are just throwing words out now. If you don't like somebody, you just want to call them something. It's like you don't like some shit. Oh, that's woke. It's like, oh, if you ask like, hey, so let's talk about you know, the civil rights movement. Oh, that's so woke. Like what? No, I got questions. Like, no, no. I'm watching this documentary or this docu series on Showtime. I stumbled upon it because we watched all our shows. This is a show called Everything's All White. Or Everything's Gonna Be All White or some shit like that. And it's basically talking about America, the American experience from the eyes of black folks, native folks, um, um, Asians, Hispanics, and what the experience is, and just talk about history. And there's one, and it's weird because like, do we call them Native Americans? I don't think we're supposed to anymore. I think they're indigenous now. This indigenous dude, he's telling the story, and when the topic of reparations came up, you know, all the black panelists were like, yeah, like there should be some sort of reparations somewhere, some along the line, not just black people, everyone who's been fucked over in the past. And then the indigenous dude was like, no, they came to us, they offered us, 1.5 million. It was like, really? That's it? And they're like, yeah, we don't want your money, we want our land. Then they came back and offered them like 1.2 billion. They're like, nah, we want our land back. We don't want your money. We want our land. It's like, when hearing his story and just listening to, the shit that he's seen and been through, that shit made me sad because it's like, god damn, dude. Because on one note of it, the shit that was happening to the indigenous people, you had some people that knew they were wrong, and then you had other people carrying out the actions that thought they were doing right. When they're snatching like indigenous children from their families and then making them be raised by white families and then not allowing them to speak their native tongues anymore, not allowing them to, partake in any of their, original traditions. It was like, nah, you're American now. You're white American now. Just seeing that, I was like, God damn, dude, that shit is sad. But unfortunately, I can't talk about that because it's too woke. by their definition. So shit gets wild, son. It gets really wild. But at the end of the day, just understand that
I mean, I think
my daughter is woke as fuck.
I feel like there's a movement that needs to be made. I mean, we have Black History Month, but then we only have St. Patrick's Day. We just get a day. I think I need to make a bigger deal about this.
Hey, do it, son.
And then what's with the stir? Why do we celebrate with green beer?
I think that like don't they always like flood like the one river in Chicago like and turn it green? It's
believe
like
so.
like that. It's like yo, really?
Well, it
we're
was
still
funny when
doing
we
it?
were driving up into Philly. We could see some St. Patrick's Day like lines out of a few, and they were like Irish bars. And Bear's kind of like, it's all. I've never seen so many white people. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's kind of like that's their thing. And then I mean, it's girls wearing as little clothing as you can, and it's kind of cold out. It's just like, why are they wearing that? It's like I don't know. It's like Halloween. Halloween's supposed to be like scary costumes, but it turned into girls wearing as little clothing as possible.
It's like why are they wearing that? I don't know. I'm so embarrassed right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even
tell you.
explain it. Like, she's wearing a green bra outside in the cold. I don't know what
Like-
that is.
You know, I mean, there's another story to even be there's another conversation to be had there, but I don't know that Colompton is the place for that because yeah, it can get a little fucked up. But the thing is, it's like, you know, when the argument comes out, it's like, well, why can you say like, you know, like Cain Velasquez, he has brown pride tattooed on his chest, and someone was like, well, why can't I put white pride on my chest? I mean, you could. No one's telling you you can't.
There's just like, for whatever reason, among white people, you can say Irish. You can kind of claim Irish about stuff. So you can say Irish pride, and people will be okay with
Yeah.
it.
Well, you could say, yeah, Irish, Italian, German.
Yeah, Italian got some stuff.
You know.
German pride is a little questionable.
Well, so the funny thing is, though, for like people who aren't, you know, if you're only focused on like, oh, well, World War II and Adolf Hitler, then yeah, that's the first thought that comes to mind. But over there, you can't at all. Like here, you know, you can still fucking see Confederate flags flying all over the place, and oh, cool, they're putting up swastikas on schools now again. That's fun. In Germany, if you get caught doing that, you're going to prison. Like you cannot celebrate the Nazi Party at all. Like Adolf Hitler is not mentioned. I mean, you know, they still talk about, you know, like history-wise, school-wise and whatnot. But it's not like, hey, let's have a fucking Netflix special on Adolf Hitler over here and talk about how he was the victim. You know? Like, nah, they don't fuck with that at all. But I mean, it's like, you know, for your nationalistic pride, yeah. But then you're like, oh, white pride. It's like, well, what is white pride? Like,
Well, that's the thing too. In like America, white, there is no like real culture. Irish and Italian, you kind of do a little bit. So I've even heard some white Italian people be like, "No, I'm not white. I'm Italian." Like, no, you're still white.
well, I mean,
there's two different kinds of.
well, there's different mindsets to all of that though too, because it's like black and white as a race. I mean, that's like the way that it was explained, at least from my understanding. I'm not going to do it like the woke chick. Like, well, like, but they're basically saying back, you know, let's say, I think it was like 15 or 1600s, you're kind of divided by your religion. But then, you know, when you start seeing black folks come about, Africans coming about, they're like, okay, you know, they're starting to rise in a little bit of power over here, you know, against the British. It's like, well, one thing we can do is kind of unite each other based off our skin color, because then we'll outnumber them. Because right now it's more of them than there are us. And then you got the Irish over here who are what are Irish? Like, I guess there's some kind of weird Catholic in themselves.
Mostly Catholic, yeah.
And then you got, you know, the Protestants, and then you got, you know, your fucking Protestants, Catholic. There's one other. And they're like, fuck it, let's just make them all fucking, let's just say white. And then there's more of us now. And that was kind of how you started getting your ideal of race. But the thing is like, you can still have people that are like, look, you know, I'm not white, I'm Italian. it used to bug me when like white chicks would do that in the early 2000s because it was like, oh, I'm not white, I'm Swedish. Like, I mean, you are still white. Like my friend Maria, like her parents, uh, they came over here from Italy, and she was born shortly thereafter. Italian American. Okay, cool. Like her parents are Italian, and it's like okay, there you could see that in conversations with her, like hanging out with her, Italian to the heart, like full blown. But let's take, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of someone I know that's Italian, or at least, have an Italian background and heritage. And then it's like, no, dude, I think you're more white, though. You're still white. It's like, your family might have originated from Italy, like, centuries ago. But y'all been here in the U.S. for a long time. Y'all white as fuck. Like, my buddy Shane. He's always like Italian this, Italian that. Pretty sure like his family like leans more to their German side anyway, or I'm sorry, their Irish side anyway. So like
But
relax.
do you think we're gonna ever see the day they protest Notre Dame for the fighting Irish
So
imagery?
I would say no, and the reason why that is because there's going to be this sense of pride of saying, well, we're not pussies. We're not going to complain about something. We're not going to whine about this.
I picture some old Irish person just being like, we have that stereotype of drinking and fighting. This has
Then he
got to
pun-
stop.
Then he punches somebody. He's like, oh
Then
well,
drinks his beer.
way to live that one down, bitch.
Yeah, it is actually on the exact same lines of the Indians.
It is.
thing.
No, I agree. I think that it won't get.
But I think the difference too, my bad to cut you off, but the Irish people are actually proud of that imagery.
True. Well, that's the thing. You have to have someone complaining about it for it to get taken down. If you get enough people to complain about it, then.
They're like, "What the fuck, man?"
But the thing is, though, too, it's like, but who's complaining? Is it Suburban
well,
Housewives?
it's like with the Redskins name that they did a study, and most Native Americans, I mean, a big majority, had no problem with the name at all. And in fact, it sort of honored them in a lot of ways, using that as the logo. So now you get nothing.
Pause. I gotta go piss again. All right. That felt a little bit better. My piss was clear, so I love seeing my piss clear. It just
You're
makes,
well hydrated.
it makes me feel like an adult. Although I feel so I don't feel sick anymore, so I guess I am hydrated. But either way, yeah, I think you need a large enough group of people complaining before something
I'm sure
happens.
there are some older Irish people that are deeply offended.
I'm sure. And guess what? They're not a large enough group because they're about to die. So there you have that. All right, so let me look at the board here. So I watched some more stuff on QAnon. Let me tell you, dude, so much fun. God damn, QAnon stuff is fun. I don't want to dig too deep into it because you can get lost in it. But it's just so fun. It's like I guess Trump's supposed to get arrested on Tuesday. He said. Trump said it. No one else did. Trump said it.
How do you announce that?
I don't know.
Your favorite president, former president, is about to get arrested on Tuesday.
He claimed that he's gonna get arrested, and he basically said, you guys should go out there and protest. You know that his supporters don't know how to act in public, so it's going down now. Some shit's gonna go wrong. They're gonna storm the Capitol again, and then say, "We didn't do anything wrong." I don't know. I feel like when you're breaking windows and putting up a gallows over there by the fucking Capitol building or the memorial, you're saying, "Hey, we're gonna hang Mike Pence. Bring him out." It's like, God damn. Like he didn't do the right thing.
Is he actually going to get arrested? Or is he just saying?
I think he's just saying it. Because there was I guess something on one of these news channels or whatever. they're like, yeah, no one has said that he's getting arrested. Only he said that he was getting arrested. Like, there's no other reports or anything. So what? Because it's supposed to stem back to the whole Stormy Daniels thing and him paying her off. So it's like, I guess.
Didn't you get arrested?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, like, dude, are you that starved for attention? You just went out and like put something on Facebook and said, "Hey, I'm getting arrested this Tuesday. Thoughts and prayers, likes and shares." I don't fucking know, man. Like, sometimes I just wonder though. It's like, dude, can we be done? I think like Fox News, it came out, like some tweets came out, how they're always like super pro like Trump and like defending him, but the tweets came out, they're like, God, we're almost done with this dude. Like, this is around September 6th. They're like, dude, we're so close to being done with this guy. We don't ever fucking have to talk about him again. Like, I can't fucking stand him. I hate him so much. They're like, and then they're also saying, no, the election wasn't rigged. It wasn't stolen. Like, just get rid of this guy. Meanwhile, when the cameras come on, it's like, can you believe they stole the election? You guys should go out there and march. Dude, this shit is all so goofy. And that's just one side. When you go to the other side of the fucking fence, it's even goofier because they're just like there are like classified documents found in Trump's fucking garage or whatever the fuck. Or no, in like some fucking room. It was like, fucking put him in jail. Then like they find like some fucking documents in Biden's car in his garage. They're like, yeah, lock him up too. I mean, but Trump did it too, so he's bad. So lock him up. But yeah, Biden's bad too.
Biden can't even read anymore. I feel like at one point he could.
I'm sure Biden seemed like a sharp dude back in the day, and then he had brain surgery. And they're like, yeah, fuck him.
The rest stop we stopped on the way home in Delaware. What's called the Biden Visitor Center.
Yeah, he's
I guess he was from Delaware.
Yeah, he was a senator.
I was curious of how long it's been called the Biden Center or Visitor Center, whatever it's called.
No, he's been a big deal in Delaware for a long time, though. So, I mean, it's probably been the Biden Center for a while, which, I mean, I guess. Good for him. I don't remember him when I was in Delaware. He ain't hang out with us. We ain't have him over for dinner.
Have you been to Wilmington?
Me?
I'm curious
Yeah.
how that is, because it looked like it's on the water, like a little downtown spot.
It's a city. It's I mean, I was a kid, so, like, my memories of Wilmington.
It's a very, not huge area, because then when Philly's fucking huge.
Well, yeah, Philly. So, like, Wilmington isn't far from Philly. Because
No.
I mean, even when I moved to Delaware, I flew into Philly's airport. I was about maybe 45 minutes to an hour away, and we lived in Newark. So, and Wilmington is about 15 minutes from Newark or so. Because I went to elementary school in Wilmington, which was weird. Because I remember, like, there was a school across the street from my house, and I was always like, why can't I go to that school? And I think it was like a special ed school.
Tried harder.
Like, I mean, they had a basketball court, so I was like, how retarded are they? Like, they can't be too far off, right?
Dang it, we almost made it.
No, I did that on purpose. So I don't know, but either way, it's one of those things where you go to Wilmington, it feels like Baltimore light. It's a city. It's got black folks there.
Friggin' Philly is so friggin' big, and the buildings are so tall. I feel like I can't even get a gauge of where things are because I can't see past the immediate surrounding street. Or like Baltimore, you can kind of see the real tall building way over there, so you kind of got like a direction. And like Philly, you can't see the next street over at all.
I did feel that way when we were there, kind of. Like, I mean, I'm good with like streets and stuff, so, but there was kind of a sense of kind of disorientation. Because we were down at the stadium for the Lincoln Financial.
Well, I do like how all three stadiums
Yeah.
are in the same area. That's
So
cool.
most places are doing that. Because like Detroit has that too. Detroit has Ford, Phil, and Comerica right next to each other. Little
Baltimore
Caesars
has the two.
is
They
around the
don't have
corner.
a third.
Yeah,
team.
they don't have a third team though. But if they
Washington, that's just nowhere. The baseball stadium's nowhere near, and then the Washington
Yeah.
plays in freaking Maryland.
But yeah, like,
In what? At Landover. There's nothing in Landover.
yeah, it's kind of goofy. Wait, shit,
Capitals used to play.
we gotta
back in the day.
look at XFL tickets. Try to find the schedule. I don't want to go when it's cold, but gotta figure out the XFL schedule. I want to go
I
to.
just realized it's outdoors. Like for some reason, I was thinking of back that indoor league.
Oh yeah, the arena joint,
Yeah,
the 50-yard field. Yeah, you just throw a touchdown from the 1-yard line every time. I was like, okay, or we can just keep doing that. But then, like, no, it was CFL that had 3 downs, which was weirder too. I don't think running backs were like hot items in the CFL, but quarterbacks are always like big news. That's why Doug Flutie was the shit.
Warren Moon, I think, threw for millions of yards.
Yeah, Warren Moon, Doug Flutie, someone else. There was another one, but I think Jim Kelly played for the USFL at one point. It's weird though because all these quarterbacks got drafted. Like Jim Kelly was in that '83 draft, but he played for the USFL.
Manziel was playing in one of those leagues. I don't know. Which
I think
league
he
it
went
was.
to. I think he went to the CFL, and then I haven't heard anything about him since. I think he's out drinking again, so should be on Colompton.
He got probably some endorsement deals right away because he was so popular.
Oh yeah, that's how endorsements work.
But
Son.
yeah, he seems like the type that would have spent all his money.
Oops, that was still playing. Sorry, we know, they're woke as fuck.
You want to rate this beer?
Absolutely.
We crushed this one. So, a late St. Patrick's Day Guinness, but it's not the Guinness from Ireland. So this is the Guinness from Helthorpe. It's called El Dorado Amber Ale, and it's a modern update on a classic American amber that features El Dorado and Laurel hops, adding a light citrus aroma and sweet malt. So basically, it's an not Irish, American amber red ale.
I like redheads.
But yeah,
They seem kind of stabby, but friendly all the same, I guess. As long as they want to stab you.
percentage 4.8. It's funny. That's like that was the normal percent back in the day. Actually, 4.8 is maybe a little higher than like a lot of the lighter beers. I like the taste of this one, so
It tastes
I'm like
pretty
rating
solid.
it kind of. This is probably one of the better amber ales I've read.
I'm going to put this in that party category because of the percentage. Actually, I didn't hate it for sure. I'm going to give it a 6.8. I would buy this.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Like in the party,
I like the taste a lot.
like party wise, I would buy this.
The taste actually surprised me.
The only reason I gave it a 6.8 and not a 7 is because the percentage is just,
So I gave it a 6.9. Everyone's favorite number.
of course.
Yeah, if you like amber ales, this one's a good one. I like the taste of that one. Dang, now
Let's
we're
see
out.
here. What's on my? Yeah,
I do have our questions.
yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, did you
Oscars.
want to do movies?
Yeah. What'd you watch?
Megan.
Oh, nice.
I enjoyed it actually.
I
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
Speaking of, you were like talking about like bad actors. The Asian dude that was the boss was terrible in that movie. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, how is this dude in the movie? Is this his role to be so unbelievable? Just the way he talked,
Yeah, it was super over the top. Like,
terrible.
Like-
But other than that, I really like the movie, and it is crazy to think about. Just like because right now artificial intelligence is the big thing. I think Microsoft's like stock has gone up a little bit because they're digging heavily into. It's almost like the search engine type thing, but using AI.
yeah, the chat.
As if you make
joint.
it, the ability for it to learn. That shit's kind of scary because they're probably gonna be able to learn better than us because we're lazy.
Of course.
So imagine a machine just constantly teaching itself and updating itself, and it's like eventually it figures out how to survive, like the Matrix. And it uses us in pods.
What's like that? And like after we watched Megan, we went back and watched iRobot just to kind of get kind of a comparison in terms of like I think iRobot was '04 maybe, and like Megan came out in 2023. So what, 19 years later, and just looking at it, it's like, well, iRobot still wasn't far off from the ideal of but it just felt a little clunky. Whereas watching Megan felt very real. It was like we're not far off from that at all. So
Yeah, and then add some other aspects to it of like one, the lady didn't originally want to take, you know, her new parental role
yeah,
seriously. Like it was a way to entertain the kid, which is something we have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting an iPad in front of a kid, like
it's like, here, play with this.
you're good.
Leave me the fuck alone. I mean, we're pretty much there really with iPads though. The only thing is missing is the actual physical like body of a machine walking around. And when I watched it, I thought about Sophie. And I was like, fuck. Like, and then the thing is, Sophie would have a blast because she's an only child, so she'd be fucking ecstatic. Like, oh, someone to play with, someone to talk to. And the thing is, if that became a thing, that's exactly what it would be.
Oh yeah, and it's programmed to like kind of say what you want,
Mm-hmm.
like your needs. So it's gonna say the stuff that makes you feel best about yourself.
Of course.
And it was wild how I was reading her facial expressions.
Yeah.
So, like,
It was picking
it
up
could
on the
tell if you're
feelings.
trusting too. It was like trusting.
Man, it's just scary, dude. But I guess the sequel is being written now, so I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'll watch it. I
Yeah,
enjoy.
because it did end with the little light, the smart light
Yeah, on the
blinking.
on
No, the camera turned.
yeah. So but the thing is, I'm just worried because like I like the first one so much. I just hope that they don't do a sequel and it gets so ridiculously over the top, where it's like infiltrating all electronics and like just gets to this point of like, okay, that's extremely unrealistic. But is it? So I don't know. But good. Glad you enjoy it. Like, so many people hate on that movie, and I'm not sure why.
I like it. And Bay is not a big fan of like scary movies, and I wouldn't say this is like overly scary, but
Yeah.
she did like it as well.
It's in that weird category. I recorded the Leprechaun episode with Teresa, and we were talking. Every time I record with her, we have to define horror movies, because she'll always say something like, well, that movie's not really a horror movie; it's more of a suspense thriller. It still has fear embedded in it. There's still a horror aspect to it. It's a horror movie. Horror is one of the genres that has the most subgenres within it. So when you get into a movie like Leprechaun, it's a horror. It's a horror comedy, but it's a horror all the same. Megan is a horror. It's still in that suspense thriller category of horror, but it's still a horror all the same. I think people fell into this bucket of horror having to be Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, Candyman, and it has to be on these certain terms. Where again, Seven is a horror, Silence of the Lambs is a horror, Jaws is a horror. Like, these movies are scary as fuck, but people want, well, no, it has to have like an iconic killer. It's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Megan was scary as fuck, but not like terrifying. It's scary at the thought because this could potentially be the future. But also thinking about it too, something like that wouldn't be cheap. So we can count that out for Sophie.
Elon's gonna have a Megan.
He's probably fucking one right now.
Yeah, he's got a wife.
He's like, oh, Megan, yes, we're gonna have babies, but I cannot reproduce. Yes. I went and saw Scream, the new Scream. So I saw the last one in theater, and I enjoyed that one. I was like, holy shit, that was good. The whole thing with the Scream franchise, one thing that it really does well is it plays to what's going on in the moment. It plays off society's fears in the times. Now, the first Scream, it was a little tricky because it was the first, but it was playing off of meta horror. And that got introduced in 94, 2 years before Scream came out, in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where basically the movie was about them filming a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and Freddy comes to life. So basically, the ideal is they're all aware that they are in a horror movie, which is where we get our term from. So when you get the first Scream, you're in a day and age now where everybody's like, okay, we know all the earmarks of a horror movie. So just let's avoid all those things and we won't get killed. But the fact is, they were aware. So that's how you get your first one. When you get to your second one, the sequel, the movie itself talks about, oh my God, we are in a sequel. And what are all the traits of a sequel? And they go over all of them. You get to the third one and even making fun of itself, saying, well, the third in every trilogy sucks. And Scream 3 fucking sucked. That's a fact. I hated it. I think when I look at everyone's like top like Scream listing or rankings, number 3 is always universally the bottom one. It's just like Sarah and I talked about. I was like, the one thing about that one is that it didn't take itself serious. It was, I mean, it fucking had Jay and Silent Bob in it. Come the fuck on. The fourth one was tricky because I felt like it was 2 years too early. They were trying to cash in on social media clout in 2011, and I don't think that was just a thing just yet. That didn't really become a major thing until 14. But they're also playing off the ideal of remakes, and the killer in that one was basically recreating the old stuff and saying, look, we're starting over, and we don't need you in this shit anymore, Sydney. So get the fuck out of here. We're gonna remake it all and start a new trilogy, which that was the real life ideal. Wes Craven wanted to start a new trilogy. Unfortunately, it was the lowest grossing film in the franchise, so they took a break. Wes Craven passed away. They came back last year with Scream 5, which then went into the whole ideal of reboots, which they call them requels. It's a fucking reboot. And for those who don't know, the difference between a fucking remake and a reboot. A remake is where you burn it all down and you start over. You just take the original concept and you're remaking it yourself. Rob Zombie's Halloween. Perfect example. Now, a reboot is where 2018's Halloween. You keep the original concept that was there. So Halloween from 78, all of that history still there. And now you're restarting it, rebooting it with all the old stuff, and you're giving a new story. That's what Scream 5 was doing. But they kept using the term requel. Now a bunch of fucking idiots out there love saying the term, Teresa included, which I had to tell her in the middle of recording, hey, let's not use that term anymore. Like, it's dumb. So, requel stupid, call it a reboot. Now, the newest one, I liked it a lot.
Nice.
Like, when they announced that shit, I was like, for fuck's sake, what are we doing, dude? Just let it die. We're done. We're done. Scream 5 was good. Leave it there. Then they said they were going to New York with it. I was like, oh, great. So Jason went to New York once as well. Guess how great that turned out? Not at all great. It was terrible. All the early reviews, just heard nothing but great stuff. I was like, fuck. I gotta go see the shit in the theater then. So I went on Wednesday. First off, empty theater. Empty.
Yeah,
Loved it.
honestly, I haven't even come across too much advertisements for it.
So there's a lot of promotion stuff going on for it, but I think they're still being kind of slick about it, where they don't want to do too much because I feel like too much promo could spoil it. But basically each Scream movie deals with something of the times in terms of like the movie experience. This one deals with franchises. And Scream in itself is a franchise. It's always been a franchise. As soon as you get to like 3 movies, you're a franchise. It's a trilogy, but it's still a franchise all the same. I feel like they handled the story perfectly. The carryover from Woodsboro to New York went very well. There were some little details that I felt like they kind of rushed. But it's in the spirit of Scream because the whole ideal is anyone and everyone is a suspect. So when you get the four from Scream 5, they're all together in New York. I was like, okay, two of which are twins. So brother and sister, and then I guess they're all siblings essentially. You got two sisters and then a brother and a sister. They all end up in New York together. They're all roommates. And the one thing that's unique about this one is every Scream movie opens up with a opening kill scene. And I've always loved that. When you talk about classic movies and great opening scenes, Scream is always in that top 5 because you got Drew Barrymore. At the time, she was a star. She was a returning big star too. And you kill that broad in the first 10 minutes. It is like, whoa, what the fuck am I watching? She was supposed to play Sidney Prescott, the main character, but she had scheduling conflicts, so she pulled out, and they kept her for the opening scene instead. Nev Campbell ended up getting the Sidney Prescott role, in which she's the megastar, but she did not come back for this movie. Money, was the issue. And I think they were going to probably kill her. She was like, then give me a lot of money. And they're like, we're not giving you a lot of money to kill you. Fuck you. But this one was no different. Opening kill scene, but I think this one might have been the best one because it was just the first one great because again you get the main star kill opening scene. It's like holy shit, what am I watching? Second one was fine. Who was it? Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett died in the movie theater. That was fine. The third one and the chick from Melrose Place. Kelly Rutherford and the guy who supposedly killed Sydney's mom in the original first Scream, but it turns out he didn't. They get killed in the opening scene. I'm spoiling the fuck out of all of that. Then in the fourth one, that one got a little squirrely because you see a kill scene, and it's like it's Kristen Bell, Sarah Marshall, and Anna Paquin from True Blood, Sookie Stackhouse. They're the kill scene. But then it turns out, oh no, the girls were just watching a movie. And then the real kill scene takes place. So that one was a little unique, but eh. And I actually give that one a lot of shit. But I went back and watched it the other night. I actually really, really do kind of like Scream 4 now. My bad. Scream 5 is the only opening kill scene where the person doesn't die. They just get fucked up. For Scream 6, the opening kill scene, without spoiling it, it's another current big star. But after the kill, Ghostface takes off the mask. And that's why I was like, holy shit. They've never done that before. What's your angle? And then you start to kind of really see what the story is going to become from that point. It's not even, it's weird. I was like, okay. But as you go through all the murders throughout the movie, at the crime scene, they leave behind a Ghostface mask. And each Ghostface mask is from a previous Ghostface. So from that point, you start to develop a story there. I thought it was very, very well done. My biggest complaint with any of these movies is that these motherfuckers get stabbed and they just walk around like that shit was just a scratch. This one bro got stabbed in the stomach, the blade got twisted, and then they started working their way up with the blade. I wrote her off. I thought she was done. And later on, there's a part of the scene where they're all in a bedroom and they're trying to escape. And then it's her. They're like, okay, you got to go. And I was like, she ain't got to go nowhere. She should have been dead. Y'all got to leave her. She's like, she's dead weight. Leave her. Why is she still walking around like everything's okay? She just got stabbed in the stomach. And she's standing up like shit is cool. No, you don't do that. There's another part. Someone got stabbed in the shoulder. It's okay. They're just moving their arm willy-nilly. That shit is sweet. Those are the only things that really bug me about this franchise is that people get stabbed and there's no real consequence. Like in the last one, Courtney Cox got shot in the stomach. But she was chilling later on. And then ultimately at the very end where motherfuckers like the police show up and there's a fucking crime scene. There's dead bodies everywhere, and there's one or two people that are chilling, still alive, and they get to walk off. No, no, they're dead bodies. You got to go down to the station. You got to answer some questions, especially since you were at a scene last year. You were the only survivor, and here we are a year later, and you're another survivor. So, come on, dude, knock it off. Otherwise, I thought it was really good. Number 7 has been approved already, and again, I'm in my mind I'm like, come on, dude, cut the shit. How are we doing another one? But they have not disappointed me yet, so I'll be there in theater for it. I highly recommend it, like either in the cheap theater or when it's free on Paramount, because it will be on Paramount. And then I watched Fantastic Four today, like just for fun. It wasn't fun. So, dude, it's so bad. It wasn't even fantastic. It was Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. It was trash. So bad, dude. I looked at Sophie and she said I really liked it, and I said you would. And now I'm like depressed. So that's all I got for that.
That's all I gotta say about that. I saw someone post something. I don't know who it was. I think they more so responded, but it was like movie quotes that you know instantly what movie it is. And it was funny as some of the people were putting like some obscure movie because it's their favorite movie. You know, it's just like,
Of course.
why are you being difficult? No one knows that movie. They're gonna be like, everyone should know this movie.
Actually, that did bring me to one real quick question. Because there was something I was watching earlier. I can't remember why it came up. But is there like, because this dude went to like the 90s con. So he was meeting all these like celebrities from the 90s. And he kept saying this one specific person. And I was like, dude, yeah, I think we all really only know that girl by that name. We don't know her real actual name. But is there like a TV celebrity whose name you only know them as that name? Like if you saw them on the street, that's all you know is like, like Kelly Bundy. like I feel like most people know her name, but I mean, for the most part, most people from the 90s know that's Kelly Bundy.
Bud.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is. No, his name is Grandmaster fucking B. What the fuck are you talking about? His name ain't Bud.
I was gonna say Kelly Kapowski, but then I do know her name. Tiffany Amber Thighs.
Okay, I was gonna say, what is her name, dude? It is fucked up because it's like I know Mario Lopez's name, but it's just so much cooler to call him AC Slater.
Yeah, all of them. Like Screech.
Yeah, like well, no, because Zach, I know his name, but I always forget his name when I need to say his name. But I know, like, we just call him Zach Morris.
Actually, I'm not remembering his name. I'm remembering.
It's Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Gosselaar. We'll say Gosselaar. But the dude on TikTok, he went to 90s Con. He met Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years, and I was like, "What the fuck is her name, though?"
Oh yeah, didn't she became like a scientist or something, right?
Yeah. She's still like cute. She's got like a weird face where it's like she's not ugly by any means, but she's not like beautiful, but she's very cute. But like he said, like he was like, dude, like the reputation that you have, like you exceed it. And she was like, what is that? I was like, basically everyone said that like you're like such a great celebrity, like you're so nice. I was like, oh, well thank you. I was like, yeah, like everyone says like you're like the best celebrity to meet. So I want to go meet Winnie Cooper now. She a cutie pie. And see how old she is.
Let's invite her for the podcast. She might do it since she's so nice.
Yeah, I mean she's super nice. Well, I mean Ashley Yoder, UFC fighter, she like I asked her to be on the podcast and she said yeah, and because she's super nice. I didn't expect her to say yes. I for sure thought she was like, nah, I'm busy, or she wouldn't even answer my fucking message. So what is Winnie Cooper's real name? Danica McKellar. That's what it is. Let's see here. I need more info. So she was born in 75, so she's approaching 50.
Way over the limit.
Yeah, sorry, Winnie. Can't invite you to the party now. January 3rd, 1975. So she is 48. Let's see here. She went to the University of California. Oh, UCLA. Duh. She's got a bachelor in mathematics.
Damn.
She's a mathematics writer and an education advocate. and she's still presently acting. Let's see here. She married some dude named Mike and divorced him 3 years later. So there's a shot. Oh no, she married some dude named Scott. They've been married for 9 years, so it's not 10. So there's still a chance, and they've got one kid. So love to hear it. I mean, she's got one kid. I mean, she likes to fuck. I mean, those are facts. Yeah, look at it. Yeah, she is a cutie pie. All right. I'm going to try to get her phone number. All right, let's get these questions, son.
All right.
All right. You sound like you're struggling over
I
there.
had this picture pulled up of the show someone posted. Like, oh. Because, yeah, I had it sent to me by picture.
Oh.
All right. So we got some this or that's and some where do you stand?
I don't know what none of that means, but.
Ambition or comfort? Oh, this is the this or that.
Oh, wait. What's it?
Ambition or comfort? So I guess, like, you want to constantly challenge yourself, or are you more like, comfortable?
It depends.
Rather be comfortable.
Depends. Like, jiu-jitsu wise, I love to get that challenge. But, like, most cases, I like to be comfortable as fuck, son. Well, no. I guess physically, I like to be challenged. So, yeah, let's go with ambition.
Yeah, I'll go ambition. It's less like, I'm at home. I like comfort.
Yeah, that was like comfort. I mean, I like being comfortable and jerking off.
Reality shows or documentaries. So I thought I knew the answer right away, but then I was like, some reality shows are actually pretty good.
I rarely watch
In
reality
general,
shows.
I would choose documentaries.
Like, typically I'm going documentary, but there's one or two reality shows I might watch. Like, I like Survivor. That's probably it.
I mean, I don't watch it now, but back in the day, I loved the first Real World
Well, yeah.
and Road Rules.
Well, we watched Storage Wars the other day, just for fun, because we wanted to and then as I'm watching, I was like, oh, all of this is bullshit. Reality TV sucks. So,
Hey, my brother's big
documentaries.
into one show. I don't even know what it's about, but he's always watching it. I don't know if it's a dating show. I feel like those shows always
Oh,
end up
yeah.
something like that anyway.
Oh, speaking of which, have you watched MILF Manor? Dude, oh my god, it's so much fun. Like, you have to. I'm coming back next week to talk about it.
All right.
We were out with other adults and I brought it up. And Sarah looked so embarrassed. I was like, don't you fucking shame me in front of the crowd. Where the fuck were we? And I brought it up. I was like, yo, have y'all motherfuckers seen MILF Manor? And she was just like, please don't. like, why?
Sounds like a porn.
No, well, it should be.
Sneeze nonstop or hiccup nonstop?
Sneeze. I had the hiccups when I was in the hospital, and I started crying because I had the hiccups for 2 hours.
Sneeze kind of gets that weird good and bad feeling, like that tickle.
Yeah, I feel like I'm jizzing all over the
Yeah.
place. So, like, when I had the hiccups, I legit started crying. And then, like, I think they were like, when they gave me morphine, it stopped.
But then sneezing nonstop, I feel like eventually your nose is going to be fucked up.
Yeah, but the hiccups are fucking trash, dude.
Be invisible or recognized everywhere you go.
Invisible. I don't want to be recognized. Fuck all that.
Does invisible mean no one sees you?
I'm fine with that.
There's a lot of things you can't do then.
I'm okay.
I guess I would choose be recognized because I mean it would suck if like that prank they always do to like the kid and make them think they're invisible, but like imagine if like no one can hear you.
I'm
How
okay with
frustrating
that.
that would be.
I'm good with that. I don't know. I'm just
Ooh, I like this question.
not into that.
I think we're gonna be on the same page on this one.
What?
Have a bottomless bank account or be able to eat whatever you want without gaining weight.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna choose the food, man.
Yeah.
That's a big perk.
God damn. Dude,
Imagine
like,
we
I
just have
all the
pizza and donuts for dinner.
Like, that's all I would do.
Wash
Just-
it down
oh
with
my
Captain
God,
Crunch.
yo. Oh my god. Whoa, no. So here's the catch. You can have all the Captain Crunch you want without fucking up the roof of your mouth. if you throw that in, sign me up.
I mean, just imagine. Start the morning, pancakes, donuts, and you don't gain anything.
Dude. And then you don't feel like shit either.
Yeah.
Because that's clutch.
Own a puppy that stays a puppy, or own a kitten that stays a kitten.
I like puppies, but no, actually, I find well, they're both adorable, dude. I like
Yeah.
kittens, but like I like kittens when there's like two because they wrestle and they like fucking
Kittens are more self-sufficient too, right?
yeah,
Because dogs, you gotta like.
yeah. Take them out and like oh yeah. I mean, puppies are cute and all that's but yeah, cats are kind of
Kittens are funny. Cats have funny
yeah.
personality.
Well,
I mean,
cats
dogs are cool too. So I
cats
don't
are
know.
kind of trash, but kittens are
I've never
awesome.
had a cat.
I had a cat when I was like a little kid, but I hated that little motherfucker.
I've never had a puppy. I don't think. No, because all of the dogs we had growing up were adopted. One was kind of young, but not quite a puppy. He was just skinny because he was found on the side of the road and wasn't eating.
Oh man, that sucks.
It looked really cute, but like in a sad way though. But like, because his head was enormous, but his body was super skinny.
Well, like
Then he
like,
ended up, once we had him, he ended up being a very, very overweight dog.
like
he would just,
Al Roker.
he would take everyone's food. All right, razor bonus. So bonuses can be more.
Yeah,
They tax the hell out of bonuses, but I guess in the end it doesn't really matter because you're taxed off your total income at the end of the year. So I guess
That
you
is
get
true.
it back.
razor bonus.
But a raise continues to go up.
That is true.
So if you're only getting a bonus each year, you're never going up, I guess.
True, true. Like I would think bonus because like just kind of the feed me now mentality. But yeah, in the long run, the raise is the
Yeah,
best move.
and I think but a bonus too is also probably money you're not. Hopefully, you're not counting on it because you don't know
Yeah.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And so it's like a surprise. Like, oh, here you go, extra. Hopefully, you're budgeting your money
Nah,
before
I'm
your
not.
bonus.
I'm
Bonus.
not. I'm not. I'm buying action figures.
I think we did this one. Intense pain for 10 minutes or dull pain for 1 day.
We have done this one. I can't remember what my
It's
answer
tricky
was.
because it's kind of funny. We answered a complete opposite of what we did.
Because like the dull pain for the day can just be annoying,
Yeah.
but that's kind of my life.
Yeah, I was
anyway,
gonna say, my knees been dull pain right this whole podcast. That's why I
Yeah.
keep shifting.
Yeah, that's like my
So
life.
I think I would choose that because now I'm remembering when I had the kidney stone, and that pain was
Yeah,
that pain in my side was. I mean, it was tremendous. It was
Yeah.
bad.
it's
So I'd rather not do that again, unless I literally have a clock of the countdown. So that will help me like be able to fight it. But if you're not aware of when it's gonna end, it's a scary position to be in.
true. Yeah, now that I think about when I had that blockage in my intestines, that shit was scary because I was certain I was done. I thought I was a goner because I'm laying there in the fucking emergency room, and they couldn't take me back yet. I was just like, yo, and Sarah had to go to him. I was like, look, I know there are people ahead of him. I get this. I'm not asking for special treatment or anything. Can you at least bring him an IV out here? Because this dude, like the nurse came out and looked at me. I was like fucking gray. I was like clammy. Looked like I was fucking on death's bed. And like they just took me back. They're like, look, you're not gonna get seen by a doctor, but we're gonna hook you up to an IV at least. Get keep you from dying on us. So yeah, I'll take the day long pain that's dull.
Yep, same here. Food truck or restaurant?
Man, look, one of the properties I work at, sometimes they got the food trucks outside, yo. And that should be smelling amazing. And also the food truck, I feel like there's a little bit of love in that food, along with some other stuff, but more love. So I'm gonna go food truck, but restaurant, yeah, I don't really fuck with restaurants like that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the restaurant's got a bathroom, I guess.
Yeah, but I can just go to the food truck and then go home and fucking use the bathroom. So there's that.
Do we get a food truck that comes in our neighborhood? It is expensive, so I don't think anyone goes to it. But it's like a taco truck, and it's like for 2 people, it's something like $45 or something for like 2 tacos each.
That's trash.
Yeah. Split the bill or take turns paying.
So I go to lunch, every other week with a friend, and we take turns paying. I honestly would pay it outright. I don't care, but they insist on splitting or taking turns. So I'm like, all right, whatever,
I
homie.
guess what I prefer is just someone. I don't care. Usually, you might maybe pay for it, but then just Venmo me whatever you think your share,
Well,
just to get it
I look at
over
it this
with.
way.
I like to get it over with.
If I said, hey Steve, do you want to go out to lunch? You say yes, then I'm paying for lunch because I invited you out. That's the way I look at it. If you invite me out to lunch, I'm not bringing no money. Just so don't invite me out to lunch.
I feel like if you were like, "Hey, Steve, you want to go out for lunch?" I'm like, "She asked me on a date.
I mean, maybe. I don't know, dude.
Should I take it? Because it's free lunch."
I would say yes. Take the fucking free lunch, you fucker.
All right, here's our, I guess, a different section. Here we go. Where do you stand? Is Kanye West a good musician? I
I'm
didn't
not-
say he's a musician. I think he's a good producer. Has a good ear for music because he made a lot of tight beats.
Well, that's where it gets weird because it's like, what's a musician? I mean,
I do consider a sampler kind of a musical
Yeah.
instrument. So I would say yes.
Yeah.
He's batshit crazy.
I'm a fan of his music for sure. He's not invited to Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm a fan of his
I saw
music.
something about the Adidas thing that they lost like billions of dollars over his thing.
So
And
they were
now
like-
they might call him back.
They called him like, hey, so you still mad at us?
Yeah, and if he just came out with his own, if he can somehow get that together, I'm sure they'll sell again. Yo, his shoes look dumb as hell, but I see them everywhere. And now we saw those dang red boots that I think are like Lamar was wearing them.
Fucking Christ,
I don't know what those are. Like, are they like action figure boots?
I
Like
don't
Lego,
know.
they look like Lego Man at first, but I was like, I've never seen Lego Man have boots. What are these boots?
That shit is dumb.
But we're about to start seeing them. I think
Really dumb.
it's gonna be like the Uggs.
Uggs were comfortable though. I think Sarah always talk about how I put my hand.
Maybe
in
that's
it. I
the
was like,
thing with these. They're like giant Crocs or something.
But these look retarded. Like Uggs didn't look retarded. They just look stupid.
Uggs looked weird at first.
They look weird, but I mean,
Now they look normal.
because we've seen them enough.
So yeah, so maybe these red boots are
I think
gonna
I-
be
I think
normal.
I got Sarah a couple pairs of Uggs, and she was like, "Okay,
Man,
cool."
I predict we're gonna start seeing some NBA players walk into the game with those. I didn't think it would be Lamar, but Lamar got some.
People do anything for attention these days, yo.
Lamar's not trying to play football yet, but he wants those boots. You know, he should play in some cleats that look like that.
Oh yeah, for sure, break his leg.
All right, I think we got asked this by Neps. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No,
I don't think so either.
and I know Neps, if you're listening, you can send the text. That's fine. I'll ignore it. Like I look at all your other texts, but if you text me saying Die Hard is a Christmas movie, I can see it atop the screen what it says. I'll just delete it. It's not a Christmas movie.
All right, then our last one. Should college and healthcare be free?
Yes,
So I think healthcare should be free. I don't think college should be necessarily free, but should be affordable.
I think both should be. I think you'll have actually, like now with college being free, there has to be kind of, it wouldn't be like those silly classes. It's like if it's going to be free, make it legitimate.
Yeah, I guess I just have a tough time picturing the way our system is now, how it would work with all these, especially if it shouldn't matter, but college athletics and all this.
So, and that's where it gets squirrely because it's like college athletics. Okay, so let's take Florida State because that's one of the top football programs. Most players on that roster, they're probably going NFL, but you have your occasional one that's not. Now, you'll have guys also who, look, they're just using football as kind of a extracurricular, like kind of as, they're good at it. It's something they're going to do, but they're still there for their education. And then you have, a bunch of guys who are just there. They're using college as kind of like the minor leagues for the NFL. They should still be able to, like, get a decent education because you'll see, like, a lot of those players, they're playing, they're practicing, they're doing all this shit, and they're not allowed to like earn anything. They're not allowed. Well, now they are. I guess they can get money, but like I feel like if you're under that umbrella where you're not really allowed to get any money, and then you're taking all your time to play, it's like when you're done, and now you need to kind of come back, and then you didn't go pro or anything. You need to come back. That's kind of a tough return with no money. It's like you may have come in on a scholarship, maybe before, but now when you're coming back, you don't have that scholarship. And college is just fucking insanely expensive now.
Yeah, I do think they need to make it affordable.
Yeah, at the very least, make it reasonable.
And then healthcare. I mean, it seems like the countries that have free healthcare they seem to work just fine.
Well, not according to anyone here in the U.S. who talks about it. They say, well, nah, because I have a friend who lives in Canada and they had to wait 2 years to get a knee surgery.
Oh yeah, it was Jim Carrey. Was like, did he do it at the Oscars?
I don't know.
I think he did. He said he did some speech recently. It was like not related to what he should be talking about. And he's like, I grew up in Canada and I never had to wait for a doctor ever in my whole life.
Well, so my friend who's in Madrid, she talks about it. So in Europe, at least, from what I understand, in like England and in Spain, at least, I don't know about the rest of it. You have like the universal health care, but you do have the choice to get privatized healthcare as well. You can have both at the same time. If you have the privatized healthcare where you're paying for it, you might be able to see a doctor much sooner. That's not saying that you're going to have a long wait time to see a doctor anyway if you're on the universal healthcare by any means. But like I know she just had her appendix removed. It was a quick turnaround. You figure that's going to be quick anyway because it's a fucking emergency. But they make it, people who haven't lived there try to make it out like, oh, well, if your appendix bursts, you're going to be waiting for weeks before you got to, well, you can't because if your appendix bursts, you're going to die. So, no, they have to operate on you. But basically, like, she sees a doctor pretty quickly. Like, she doesn't ever have any problem with wait times or anything. Now, again, she does have both private and universal, but I've never heard her make a complaint about either or. So that being what it is, I never hear her complain about the bill. She had 2 knee surgeries. Not once did she say anything about the bill being like, oh, I got this fucking medical bill, I'm going to be paying on forever. I was fortunate when I went into the hospital. I worked for Kaiser Permanente, and my health insurance was free. So when I went into the hospital for the week, I didn't have to pay a penny. I had to get a lot of fucking CT scans the previous week, which isn't good for your body. Just so you all know. Like, I actually started getting allergic to the fucking stuff you had to drink.
The dye?
Yeah. Like the last time it was the last time because they're like, yeah, he's itching. Like, when I drank it, my arms started itching really bad. They're like, okay, then they gave me Benadryl, then I passed out. Like, they put the Benadryl right into the IV. Let me tell you, son. Was out within minutes. But those treatments, I had to pay $5 each time I went in for those. Prescriptions were like $2. So it's like, I was fortunate to be under that healthcare plan. When Sarah was pregnant with Sophie, didn't cost us anything for Sophie to be born. Although we did get the EOB, the explanation of benefits, and you're looking at like $7,000. And I know there's some people that are paying far more. And I was like, after that I was like, well, guess what? We're not doing again. Having any more kids because we can't afford that. So, but I think healthcare, and you always hear the argument about people saying, well, I don't want to pay for someone else's healthcare. Well, if you're working somewhere and you're on health insurance with your job, you are paying for someone else's healthcare. All your money goes to the fucking pot. That's all that is. People are fucking stupid. Really fucking dumb. It's like, and then there's also this idea of like, well, I don't need it, so I don't want to have to pay for someone else. It's like, yeah, you don't need it right now. But if you get diabetes, why is insulin so expensive? I think they just passed the thing now where the price for insulin will come down. like no more than $35, which is good. But at one point, insulin was ridiculous. It was like thousands of dollars. When I worked at Kaiser, I had a lady call in. Her son, her 5-year-old son, was taking his medication, and it cost him $5,000. Well, it cost them $2,500 a month. Insurance covered the other half, but basically, this medication it had to take cost $5,000 a month for their child. It's like, how is that even fucking okay? And, you'll get some asshole who's gonna always justify capitalism and say, "Oh well, if it wasn't for these rich people, we wouldn't have the things that we have now." You're right, but we also probably wouldn't care that we didn't have them because we wouldn't necessarily want them. So, just because someone's rich and taking advantage of the system doesn't mean we should still get punished. There should be no reason that, some families paying $5,000 to keep their kid alive. Like, additionally, because kids ain't cheap anyway. But now you're paying $5,000 for them to take a medication. And when insurance, fucking falters on you, now you're paying more. So, healthcare, they can kiss my ass on all the bullshit when people are like, well, it has to be this for that, and this. Like, what you want? We want us to be fucking socialists? Fire department's socialist program. Police department's socialist program. Trash and recycling is a socialist program. Seems to be working out pretty well. Fucking figure it out. We got enough fucking geniuses in this country to make things work. They don't want to make things work because a lot of politicians are getting fucking their pockets lined with a lot of fucking money to keep things a certain way. And also, when the Affordable Care Act went into play, Obamacare, insurance went up and everybody was like, oh, blame it on Obama. No, the insurance company didn't have to raise their prices. They saw an opportunity, just like when COVID hit. The politicians saw an opportunity to take advantage of things. Same thing with the insurance companies when, like, oh, here's a reason for us to make the prices go up now, because now we have to give everyone insurance. They were still getting grants from the government. Citizens were getting cheaper insurance, but the government was taking the hit for that. So to say, oh, well, we have to make the prices go up, because Sarah's idiot friend constantly says, like, well, my husband's, medication went up and it's all Obama's fault. No, it actually isn't. Obama did some fucked up things. He wasn't the greatest president either. But your husband's medication going up in price had nothing to do with him. It was the greed of the fucking insurance company saying, here's an advantage, let's take it. Cocksuckers.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Man, we got political this episode.
No, because health insurance shit, I get super fucking fired up about that because, like, I wear a colostomy bag. Like, that's, like, my life. I've had it all my life. That is not covered under insurance. I have to pay out of my own pocket to buy the fucking bags. They're not cheap. And for whatever reason, they're like, oh, no, well, you have to pay. Like, we're not going to cover that. We're not going to put that on insurance. I was like, really? Why not? And one of the families that Sarah used to work for, they're lawyers. They're actually fighting to get that covered under insurance. Obviously, they lost because I'm still paying for it out of pocket. But the point is, they can go fuck themselves. Not the lawyers, the insurance company. They can go fuck themselves too, actually. They're cool. And then they're like, we want to live in Nanny. It's like, bitch, Sarah moved around the corner to be closer to you. And now you want to let her go because you want to live in Nanny. And then live in Nanny didn't work out. And then they called Sarah back up. She was like, sorry, I'm making fucking bank doing something I really fucking enjoy. And I get to homeschool my kid. So eat a bag of dicks. Yeah, son. What's up now? So yeah, let's go ahead and end on that note. All right, had to take a drink. My voice was getting kind of fucked up there. So, as always, thanks, motherfuckers. Thank you for listening. If y'all got any questions, concerns, criticisms, feel free to reach out. You can find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram. So use at Thor.Bentley on Instagram. Collectively, we're at the Colompton Bear Club on Instagram. We nice people. Send us a message. Leave us a review. Like, and I went on fucking Apple Podcasts. I saw that fucking 1-star review somebody left. You punk ass motherfucker, yo. Fuck you, son.
I noticed Apple, it still says social club for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't change it. I'll change it. Like, I went on there the other day. I was like, I just looked at the review. I was like, man, fuck y'all. So I'll fix that. I'm just
I
mad.
can't get on Apple anyway. Like I was trying to because
It's-
I had an old iTunes account, but I couldn't find a podcast like when I logged in.
So you can't. I was trying to go leave a review for someone else's. I can't find them. So if you go into what do we use? Podbean?
Yeah.
If you go into Podbean and then you go into the one section, you can go to there. Like on the back side of it. But yeah, go leave a review, bitches. And whoever left that 1 star, yo, fuck you, yo. Like for real, fuck you though.
They probably thought 1 star meant great.
Like that one chick who left me a 1 star review for work. I saw she had on the Duke University hat, dumb bitch.
Every once in a while, I've seen like, because I like to look at the reviews if I'm buying something on Amazon or something, and they'll like be great comments, and then it's 1 star. I'm like, oh, you're an idiot.
Dumb fucks. But yeah, yeah. Otherwise, catch us on all those social media platforms and listen
5
to the
stars
show.
on Spotify. What?
Yeah. What's up now, son? Yeah. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, Android users.
Yeah. What's up? Motherfucking bitch ass Apple users talk about who's fucking up our chat with the green fucking thing. Like fuck you.
Yeah,
That's who's
I'm
fucking.
Group chat now where everyone's liking each other's message. So for me, it like spells out the whole message and says liked. So and so liked blah blah blah, and I'm like, I can't like. Well, I think I could. I don't like the advanced messaging, so I have it turned off. I don't like the fact where it says read and unread.
I like it because I know, like, oh, you read my message. Oh, so you saw it, motherfucker. Like, okay, you just ignore me now, bitch. Like, you would never say like, it'll say Sarah like,
Yeah, so
stupid. Like, get a real phone, bitches.
So yeah, sometimes I'm tempted to like, since I can't actually like it, do I just type it out like Stephen liked and then type their message.
You just write on there, Stephen did not like. Like, fuck y'all. But
Thumbs down.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, there was that thing with the talk of a dislike button on Facebook. How many friendships that could possibly.
Well, they have it on TikTok. Like, they have the thumbs down. Like, I like it. I haven't used it yet because everything I've seen, I like. I like this one chick. She has this like weird, trashy accent. It's like she looks weird, but I think she's cute. But she might be weird. I don't know. Like I'm a little tipsy right now, so I'm gonna look at it. She don't look real cute. Like I think she's trying to get weird. Like one eye is bigger than the other. But I love her fucking accent. It's like, girl, talk to me, girl. Say fucking things about the fucking political system. Keep talking. Work. Skip bitch. But yeah, go ahead, leave us a review. You know you love this shit. And then again, word of mouth helps. So tell a friend, and tell your mom too. Otherwise, yeah. Thank you. Love you, bitches. See?
Good soup.
Bye, bitch.